It's a beautiful summer day in the Back Bay of Boston. Temperatures scheduled to be in the 80s. We play day baseball inside Fenway Park. It's Game 3 of the 3-game series between the Angels and the Red Sox. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Today, joined by Hall of Famer Jim Rice. And Jim, yesterday the Red Sox able to split a day-night doubleheader, and right now playing some very good baseball.
They are, and you want to split because you don't want anything to have an opportunity to sweep in you. And of course, the Red Sox are playing pretty good baseball, but they got to look on down the line, see what they have coming up.
Big schedule for the Red Sox coming up, and it includes today's game against the Angels. And today for the Angels, it's Joe Blanton who's on the mound. He's had a tough season. He's 1-9, matched up against Ryan Dempster, who goes for the Sox today. Dempster is 3-6 on the season with a 4.39 earned run average. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Powered by Dunkin' Donuts, your New England Kia dealers. Sony Pictures, This Is the End, in theaters June 12th. Stowe, Vermont, plan your vacation at GoStowe.com. Toyota's official site for deals via Toyota.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Welcome back to sunny Fenway Park. It is a fabulous day here at Fenway, somewhere in the mid-70s, and the Red Sox will wrap up their homestand today against the Angels in Game 3 of the series. All 3 games played in a time span of 48 hours. The booth is really full today. Jim Rice to my right, Hall of Famer, Rob Bradford from WEEI.com.
That really doesn't really speak well. When you go, you have a Hall of Famer to the right and someone else to your left.
You to my left.
Yes, thank you.
But it's great to have you back, Jim. Great to have you here as well. Jim joined us in spring training as well down in Fort Myers. And Jim, as you mentioned as part of the Open yesterday, very important to split a doubleheader, but also very hard to really take both games of the day-night doubleheader. So it was good to split at least.
It is. Those are the key things that you're talking about right now that you really want to do, especially in your ballpark. You wish you could win the series, but still you don't want to have someone to come in and sweep it.
Now, the Red Sox ready to take the field today, and they do, as leading them onto the field is Ryan Dempster. Let's check out the Angels batting order, brought to you by Jordan's Furniture on Junior Announcer Day.
Thanks, Mr. Orsillo. Hi, I'm Olivia from West Newton. Leading off for the Angels, in center field, Mike Trout. The right fielder, Josh Hamilton. The DH, Albert Pujols. At first base, Mark Trumbo. The second baseman, Howie Kendrick. At third base, Alberto Castro. The shortstop, Eric Ibar. The catcher, Chris Iannetta. And batting ninth, the left fielder, J.B. Shuck.
Great job, Olivia. As we go down the pipe with FW Webb for the season numbers on Ryan Dempster. He gets his 13th start of the year. 3-6 with a 4.39 earned run average in 69 2/3 innings, 77 strikeouts, and opponents hitting at 228 against Dempster. Behind him defensively, the Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Iglesias at third base with Stephen Drew at short. Dustin Pedroia at second and Mike Napoli at first base. Left to right in the outfield, Mike Harp is in left field with Jacoby Ellsbury in center. And Daniel Knob in right. The battery today, Jared Saltalamacchia catches Ryan Dempster. Red Sox now up to 7th in the American League in fielding percentage to start the day's play. And again, today is a beautiful day at Fenway. The home plate umpire is Marty Foster. Wally Bell is the umpire at first. Tim McClellan, the crew chief, is at second base. And Marvin Hudson is the umpire at third. Blue skies above Fenway Park as you can listen to this game in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game. Ryan Dempster ready to toe the rubber today, and you see the breeze, which is a good breeze today from left to right across the outfield. It's 75 degrees to start the game, and the forecast is for more of this beautiful weather here today from Fenway. Red Sox wrap up the homestand, and the first pitch from Dempster is going to miss for ball one, and we are underway. Rob Bradford, really good things yesterday from the Red Sox in the nightcap after a tough start to the day yesterday.
A lot of encouraging things coming off that game, particularly David Ortiz, the way he swung the bat against the lefty. Everyone's going to focus on the home run, but I love the way that he approached C.J. Wilson.
I want to ask you about some of the updates from last night. Of course, we had the game yesterday afternoon. Fox had last night's game as Trout will foul this off to the right. But what is the update on both Shane Victorino and Clay Buchholz from last night?
Shane Victorino tweaked his hamstring a little bit in the first inning, but he was okay. But they are going to be a little bit careful with him and give him some built-in days off. They need him for the long haul. With Clay Buchholz, he was a little sore today. They were still going to check on him, but he still said it's a trap back area. Shoulder area.
Is it connected to what happened to him in the past that saw him miss a start?
You know, you got to think that it is, and I know that they're talking about the neck and the trap, but still, we're only a week away from that shoulder problem that he had. He was flexing his shoulder. You got to be very careful. This is one of the most important guys in the division.
This up and in to Mike Trout. Full count here. And Jim, Mike Trout has been a lot of fun to watch. He's one of the game's best players. He's got it all.
Hey, talking about all the twos, this man can carry all the twos here. You know, when you talk about a young guy with twos like that, you try to get, I guess, the finer things out of him as for. As now you see he took the breaking ball there. You know, you're taught to hit the fastball, because when you're coming up, once they know you can hit the fastball, what are they going to throw? You're going to throw something off speed. And the average pitcher probably throw you, 4 pitches? Fastball, curveball, slider, change. Sooner or later, you got to learn how to hit that breaking ball.
Well, Dempster gets him on the breaking ball. First strikeout of the day for Dempster is Trout. Got the bad news from Marty Foster, and he sort of expected it after taking a good long look. And here is Josh Hamilton hitting at .216 with 8 homers and 18 runs batted in. Red Sox defensively into the shift, and Rob, this is a tough team to figure out. They've got all the tools, they've got all the superstars, but so far not getting it done.
And this is the guy who is kind of the poster boy for everything that's gone wrong with it. And you know what? He came in here, he's swinging the bat pretty well. It gives you a reminder how good he can be.
He's starting to come around as he carves this foul off to the left.
You know, and I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to ask Jim this going into the rest of the game, because I don't know if Hamilton's going to get up again when I'm going to be here. But he hit a ball last year, which is, if no one's going to hit that red seat, Josh Hamilton, he hit a ball off Melanson last year. It's about as hard as you can hit a ball.
1-1 pitch is outside to Hamilton.
So my question to Jim Rice is the farthest ball that he has ever hit.
Was it here?
It was here. I believe it was here. In my younger days, I hit a ball over the flagpole, and Mr. York said probably the longest ball you ever watched in this ballpark. Hit straightaway center off. I hit it off of
Steve Busby.
Steve Busby.
And Josh Hamilton taking the breaking ball for a strike, and it evens at 2. That's a long way out there to left center.
It is, but I've seen some balls hitting this ballpark. You know, everyone talking about the Ted Williams seat. Eddie Murray hit one up there.
Is that right?
And Bob Stanley, you can call Bob Stanley right now. Bob Stanley, he wanted that back with.
Well, Drew throws out Josh Hamilton for the second out of the inning. And here's a home run for Josh Hamilton. You're talking about
now
Melanson.
It's a curveball. I understand that, so you don't have the torque behind it. After that game, I went up and asked him, what's the longest home run you ever hit? Now, I don't know whether to believe it or not, but he said 549 feet, single A in Bakersfield. And the reason he knew that was the next day, the ball landed in mud. The next day, they went out and measured it.
So actual dimensions, just not a estimate. That
yeah, listen, I mean, you do whatever you can to get the story going, so good for him. But that ball right there that they just showed, that was the longest I've seen in a long time.
Albert Pujols batting here with 2 outs in the inning. And Jim, this is for a long time considered one of the best right hitters the game has seen. And Albert Pujols, what do you see when you watch him hit?
just raw power, just raw talent. With Pujols, power to all fields. He's mainly got to just get it together. And even coming to the American League now, you really got to know the pitchers, got to know what they're trying to do to you. But being a hitter, you got to make some kind of adjustment. He's going to make it eventually. Just hope not today.
Well, he's part of our key matchup today. It's brought to you by Acura, hitting at .345 in his career against Ryan Dempster with 7 home runs. And for Dempster, the guy that's got the most home runs off him is this guy, as he will lift a fly ball well out to deep right center field. Ellsbury back towards the bullpen, and he's got another. Pujols can add to that list of home runs against Ryan Dempster. He's got him again. This is the 10th home run of the season for Pujols, and a quick 1-0 Angels lead. That ball seemed to carry very well out to right center field, and the ball explodes off the bat of Albert Pujols.
Well, you got a lot of fly ball hitters. You got a fly ball pitcher, and you watch Jacoby. Jacoby thought that was going to be the routine fly ball.
Yeah.
Even though Albert seemed like he was trying to pull the ball, he's so strong that he hit the ball with the wind, and the ball went out to right center.
Wind going exactly the way, pushing the flag exactly where they pushed that ball right there. You can see, like Jim said, the way Jacoby reacted.
So a 2-out solo home run for Albert Pujols gives the Angels a 1-0 advantage. And here's Mark Trumbo. It doesn't get any easier. This top 5 really in the Angels order, you can match him up against anybody. It's pretty solid.
It really is, and that's why this is so surprising, the way they jumped out to this season. And I understand everything's driven by starting pitching, but you would think that the kind of bats that they have would be able to carry them through some of this.
And all the big names, Hamilton, Trout, Pujols. You forget about Mark Trumbo, who's got 15 home runs.
And I wanted, Jim, you could speak to this. You look at a guy like Pujols, you look at a guy like Trout. How important is it to have these guys around you in terms of the way you're getting pitched?
Well, I mean, anytime you have a guy can really hit the ball at the ballpark, it's going to make you a much better hitter. You're going to see better pitching, because really they rather give up 1 home run instead of giving up a 2-run jack. So I think a lot of times you having those guys around there, you're looking for more of a single home run than a double home run. That's one thing about Jim Palmer said. I don't mind giving them singles. I don't want to give them doubles. And that's the key thing right there. You give up 1, you got a chance to keep your team intact as far as trying to win a ball game. You give up 2, it's a little harder.
Who supplied the best protection for you in the lineup during your career here in Boston?
Well, I had 2 guys. I had Freddie and I had Yaz. Zim was very fortunate to be one of our managers, and he was saying that if a right-hander is pitching, Freddie's going to bat third. You bat fourth because you try to get that left hand up there to face the right hand a little more, and vice versa. Because I never wanted to be a fourth hitter. It seemed like fourth hitters are the type of guys that always hit home runs. I could hit home runs, but I didn't want to put in my head I want to go up there and try to hit home runs. So Freddie was probably my backup.
2 down in the inning. Mark Trumbo with a full count. And this is line just over the outstretched glove of Pedroia into right field. A 2-out base hit for Mark Trumbo. And all of a sudden the Angels, with 2 outs in the inning, have put together a home run and now followed it up with a single. Dempster trying to work him away, and Trumbo just goes with it into right field. So a 2-out base hit, and it'll bring up Howie Kendrick. Kendrick, who usually has that batting average well over 300, is hitting up over 300 at 328 coming in. 8 homers and 32 runs batted in.
I think a very underrated player. We look at everybody else in this lineup, but this guy is a really good player to have on your team. He actually works out with Dustin Pedroia in the offseason. They have some sort of Andre Ethier at his house. They have a compound where you have Russell Martin, you have Andre Ethier, you have Connor Jackson, Howie Kendrick, J.J. Hardy. They all work out together at Andre Ethier's house.
Is this in Arizona?
It is. Yeah. They used to all work out at Athletes Performance, but Ethier kind of built this place. And all of a sudden you have Howie Kendrick walking in the door and these other guys, and it becomes quite a scene.
2 down here in the inning. Mark Trumbo at first base, and Kendrick is down on the count 0-2 as Dempster stares in for a sign from Saltalamacchia. Jimmy, think about how guys train now. How much different is it today as far as training during the offseason than when you played?
You talking about training.
I know you worked hard in the offseason.
Yeah, very hard. Go home and get a job in the offseason. Yeah, I was training. No, we were not allowed to lift any weights whatsoever. Probably the heaviest weight we had in the clubhouse, maybe like a 25-pound barbell, and the pitchers had like a steel ball or something like that. That's all we had. We didn't have anything in it.
Well, Now it is strike 3 to Kendrick. It is a home run for Albert Pujols. It has the Angels on top 1-0. The Red Sox batting order is brought to you by New England Chevy dealers on this Junior Announcer Day from Fenway.
Thanks, Mr. Osillo. Hi, I'm Connor from South Boston. Leading off for the Red Sox, the center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury, in right field Daniel Nava, the second baseman Dustin Pedroia, the DH David Ortiz, at first base Mike Napoli, the catcher Jared Saltalamacchia, and left field Mike Carp, the shortstop Stephen Drew, and batting on third baseman Jose Iglesias.
Nice job, Connor, as Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off for the Red Sox, and Ellsbury has taken a strike from Joe Blanton. Now deals, and Ellsbury lines one to the left, and it'll be caught out there by J.B. Shuck. He went into the slide to make the catch on kind of a hooking liner, but Ellsbury's retired. And a nice play by Shuck as he just did grab it before it hit the grass.
Well, that's the type of swing exactly you want from Jacoby Ellsbury. Everyone focuses so much on the home runs and him driving out. All day long, the line drives gap to gap. That will carry Jacoby Ellsbury through a pretty good season.
Well, Jacoby's had a big couple of games since his return. And the groin has not been a problem so far as he lines out here for the first out of the first inning and brings up Daniel Nava. Jim, I'm curious to get your take on Ellsbury as a guy who hit 30+ home runs. Hang on a second. Keep that thought. New England Nissan dealers brings us the starting pitcher Joe Blanton's 13th start. What do you see from Jacoby Ellsbury? I mean, a guy who hit 30 home runs in one season, and now that home run power is a little bit different. Seeing a lot more lineouts.
Well, he's probably not driving the ball, and of course you got to think about the pitching situation. The pitchers are probably pitching a little different, not throwing him the fastball, throwing him more off speed, and so now he's got to take advantage of just getting the base hit. Your home runs are going to come on mistakes. You set yourself up when you're in a hitter's count. You may try to go for a home run, then you go back to your base hits.
Well, Jacoby, who's had a very good season, is out number 1 of the first inning. Nava takes the 2-1 for strike 2.
You know, I want to go back to the weightlifting conundrum that Jim was talking about. Because Jacoby Ellsbury goes to athlete performance all off season.
It's in terrific shape.
Yeah, he's the perfect example of a guy working out. Now, you're saying that you didn't work out at all? No weights at all?
No, never have.
just naturally
Could you imagine watching Yastrzemski? Could you imagine watching Rico, guys that I play with? They never lift weights.
Well, here's the thing. I brought this up to a young sports writer the other day. I mentioned the word Nautilus. I remember Yaz. Yaz, that was the first time Yaz was doing Nautilus. It was a big thing. And he said, "What's Nautilus?"
Having a cigarette and a cup of coffee is not Nautilus.
Well, the other thing I remember from every spring training, you have these stories about Yaz starting something, whether he was doing it or not. George Scott on the exercise bike in the rubber suit. That every single year.
That's working out.
So you're saying that was a publicity campaign?
Okay, say if Yaz and Scotty, they did all this other things that you're talking about right now. I didn't do it. I didn't work out then. Just put it that way then. My thing was that when I came to the big league camp, Cepeda was there, and Cepeda was swinging 36-40 or 36-42 back. And so that was my weights. When I came up, I started swinging 36-36. I went to 36-40 in spring training, and that's how I built on muscle. I never really lifted any weights, and I'm too old to do it now.
And now you're naturally jacked still. I mean, it's unbelievable how it has stayed throughout the years without any Nautilus, without any real work. As Dustin Pedroia stands in, 2 lineouts here out of the gate off Blanton, and it's been a tough year so far for Joe Blanton. Robbie is coming in with a really tough record of 1-9.
Yeah, the Red Sox expressed a little interest in him early on, but not a guy that they were going to base the rotation around.
There's a 1-2-3 first. We're done with 1. The Angels have a 1-0 lead. Red Sox invites you to join the walking club. Sign up today and get a cool wristband, plus everything you need to start a walking program for better health. Find out more at vidmc.org. Do you walk?
What's that?
Do you walk?
No.
No walking, no running, no nothing.
You know, I was very fortunate to go to spring training, and that's where I did all my things as far as getting in shape, because I played every day, and I worked out in the batting cage as far as taking batting pressure, John DePesky and I, but all this other stuff I didn't do.
Well, Alberto Callaspo leads it off here in the second inning. Angels have a 1-0 advantage thanks to the home run by Albert Pujols. Callaspo, Ibar, and Iannetta to bat here in the inning.
Here's reality, Don. He hit one over the flagpole, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Whatever he did worked.
It all worked. Well, Dempster is a guy that has not got a lot of run support until his last time out, when he got plenty of run support. He got 17 runs worth of run support, a 17-3 win over Texas, and a win for him, his third of the year. He is 0-2 in his career in 3 appearances against the Angels. That's a strike, 3-1.
Jim, with Dempster does a little thing with his glove. When a pitcher does something like that, does that distract you as a hitter at all?
No, I'm looking for the baseball. I'm not looking for anything as far as distraction from the pitches, because I think a guy that could hide the ball very well or hit the ball very well was a guy like Dennis Eckersley. You can't really get into all the motion and everything. You know, you can go for all the motion, but still the baseball keep there.
And that was the thing with Louis Tion, right? I mean, as far as his deception.
A pitcher that can hide the ball very well is going to be very tough on the hitter.
Lead runner on in Callaspo, who walks, and here is Eric Ibar. It's funny you mentioned that, because Dempster was talking about how he thought at one point he was tipping his pitches, so that's how he got into the whole shaking of the glove thing that he does now, which kind of stands out. And at third is Iglesias, but first to check on Callaspo, back to the bag.
Kevin Millar was actually the one who suggested that he do something like that, and he feels like it has helped him. And sometimes that's all it takes, is that if you feel like it's helping you, whether it is or it isn't, then that's going to go a long way.
Dempster, the long pause, and he deals with strike 1 to Ibar.
Did you sometimes hitters don't like actually being identified when they identify someone as tipping pitches? Did you like that, or did you look for that at all, Jim?
No, it's just like if you have a guy at second base that can steal, I guess, maybe the signs from the catcher, or even if he's tipping the pitches, and if he accidentally throw the wrong pitch, you know, shame on you. So no, I just want to know that this pitcher out there is, you know, carrying the baseball in his hand. Just whatever he throws is fine with me.
Callaspo has walked to begin the inning. Eric Ibar with a count of 1-1. Dempster working deliberately with Callaspo at first base. On the ground, could be 2. Pedroia will go to second for 1. It's going to be 2. 4-6-3, and the Twin killing. Let's check in with Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, after winning the first game, the Angels fell to the Red Sox 7-2 in Game 2 last night, which brings us to our Geico quote of the day, and it comes from C.J. Wilson, who was the Game 2 starter last night, and he was talking about how he tried to keep that momentum going from the day game. He said, "I threw 100 pitches in 5 innings. That's pretty garbage. It's disappointing. I feel like after winning the first game today, it would be nice to get some momentum going, but I couldn't get it going." Jim, how often would you try and run up a pitcher's count?
We didn't believe in that. This is new school here. We see it and hit it. We want to play an hour and 45-minute game. We don't want to play 3 hours.
That's what I want to hear. We had 4 hours yesterday, and 3:48 last night. This game is it is growing in hours, and you know, you talk about the popularity of baseball, and you wonder about speeding up the games as a factor in it.
Well, you talk about now you talk about numbers. Everyone based everything on numbers as far as getting their pitches up in pitch count. We didn't do that. You see it and hit it. I mean, how could you tell a guy like Yaz, Rico, myself, Dwight Evans, Freddie Lynn, we're going to have to look for a walk? Nobody walked with the mailman. We out here to hit some balls out of the ballpark and enjoy the game. We didn't believe in that stuff.
Nobody walked but the mailman.
And the milkman.
And the milkman. 2 down for Chris Iannetta, who's down 1-2. Dempster going upstairs and missing. 2-2.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking to Dempster earlier in the year about why there's so many more strikeouts, and he said approach is a big reason too, because guys get paid to hit home runs and walk. So they're going to take a lot of pitches and take a lot of pitches that maybe they shouldn't.
Well, also you see a lot of strikeouts because we were taught that when you get 2 strikes, you choke up, you be short and quick.
Short and quick to break we go. Inning and a half done. 1-0 Angels. Red Sox games. Visit Ace Ticket for great seats at the lowest prices, either for a game or for all of the summer's hottest concerts. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, and the right field roof deck here at Fenway Park. A beautiful day to be out there today. Is a lot of rain come through on Friday. Pretty good day yesterday for the day-nighter, and just a great day here today for the third and final game of the series, last game of the homestand. As David Ortiz leads it off here in the bottom of the second inning. Ortiz, Napoli, and Saltalamacchia. And Jim, I'm curious to get your take on David Ortiz. I mean, he comes off the DL and is right now having one of his best seasons ever, it seems, at the plate offensively. Being focused and a lot of work. Those are the key things that you gotta think about as far as doing. And, you know, it seems like every year you come back, you want to try to do something different. He's doing something different. He's trying to get that energy back that he had last year and just carry it on. But still, you got to go out and work on things that you need to work on, and that's hitting the ball all over the field. Nice home run from last night. There's David here with the count of 1-1 on a check swing foul. You saw that Achilles for him, and it was going to be a long time for him to come back, and it was amazing. I saw him about 3 weeks before spring training started, still hobbling around. We saw him hobbling around down in spring training, but he's come back so strong this year afterwards and kept himself in great shape somehow. Well, I know him to come in the ballpark during the offseason, and he was here. I think during that time he was working like three times a week, so he was doing almost right after the season, right after. This is laced to right field up over the shift, and it's a base hit. Hamilton will get it back in. He had all the pain, but he was in here working out. Well, base hit for Big Papi to get the bottom of the second inning started. It was the first hit off Joe Blanton. As you see, Hamilton quickly over to cut it off before it gets into that corner. And David aboard here to begin things in the second inning. Mike Napoli coming up. Rob Bradford from WEI.com alongside Hall of Famer Jim Rice here today as the Angels have a 1-0 advantage.
It should be known they have a ton of guys in the lineup today. A lot of success against Blanton in the past. You have Ortiz 345. You have Napoli 375. Drew 429. A guy who's not even in the lineup, Johnny Gomes, 5 for 11.
Blanton, of course, as you mentioned, with some conversation about perhaps the Red Sox being a suitor. I mean, how close do you think that came to happening?
I don't think it came close at all. I think it was around the GM meetings. They're putting out some feelers to fill that spot that they had in the rotation, but really what they needed was a guy who they could lean on more, that had less room for error, and I think that's what they got in Ryan Dempster.
Well, Blanton, 5 career starts here at Fenway Park, is 2-1, but a 6.44 earned run average. His last victory at Fenway came back in July of 2006. He was a member of the A's. As Napoli will strike out here. First K for Blanton. Blanton changes up for the first out here of the second inning. Napoli caught off guard on this changeup.
Napoli's going to swing and miss it a lot. We talk about Josh Hamilton being one of the biggest guys, biggest culprits in the major leagues in terms of swinging and missing, but Napoli's actually worse than he is. But you're willing to sacrifice that. You have a unique guy who takes a ton of pitches and hits the ball out of the park.
1 out, 1 on as Jared Saltalamacchia stands in.
You know, I left Saltalamacchia out of my Blanton rundown. 3 for 4.
He's pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Jim, who's the toughest pitcher you think you ever faced in your career? You had the toughest time against? No, there aren't many.
There were a few. Most of them, I guess, were relievers like Riley Fingers. Eckersley hit the ball very well. Guy that intimidated me at a young age was probably Vita Blue, and I love to hit off left-handers, but when I came up in '75 being a rookie, it was like, come on here, kid, I got something for you. So I felt very embarrassed with Vita.
Ortiz at first. Napoli struck out, and there's an 0-2 pitch to Jared Saltalamacchia. And he strikes out. So Blanton back-to-back Ks and able to follow it up with another changeup. The pitch on Nesson is brought to you by Amica. Amica Insurance. Great service, great coverage, great price for auto, home, or life insurance. Second strikeout for Bland. Back-to-back Ks here in the second. And it brings up Mike Carp. Carp's getting a chance here to play on a semi-regular basis, and it seems like always does something good whenever he gets a chance to play.
Well, we had mentioned that Johnny Gomes had a tremendous amount of success against Bland, 5 for 11. So his replacement better be pretty good. And the logic is that Mike Carp has been swinging very good, and they're going to keep this sort of platoon going.
Gomes coming off the bench a great many games also to pinch hit, leading games. He's had some big hits. Center fielder Mike Trout over towards right center for Carp to pull. And it is 3-0. Talking about left fielders, Jim, we talked about it in spring training a little bit. We're looking out there right now, J.B. Shuck is very deep. Where would you play on average out there defensively? Where would you stand for the most part?
About the same. So normally, you can't protect the line anyway. I don't want to give the guy the gap. So normally what I would do, I would try to split the difference. I would get between the shortstop and third base and play that area. But also you have to feed off the center fielder. See how the center fielder controls everything. So I play off Freddie, and we try to surround everything. You have the left fielder, the center fielder, and right fielder, and we play off each other.
Remember in the years of Manny Ramirez, he was playing so shallow at one point. He looked like he could reach out and grab the shortstop. Taking away a lot of base hits, though, there to left where he was situated.
Well, see, also you got to depend on the strength of the hitter, and you got to depend on the wind. You know, just like Jacoby thought that ball was going to be a routine fly ball. It's the first thing when you get to the ballpark, you check the wind. And you got to play. Yeah, I say one thing you got to do, or you think about doing. You play deep and you cut across. You always try to keep the ball in front of you.
Down from third is Callaspo to make the catch. It ends the inning in foul ground. Some of the big guns are coming up. Second and third batters will be Trout and Hamilton. It's 1-0 Angels.
Into the top of the third, and AT&T and you, the fans, are going to help us out with our AT&T Twitter question of the day. So fans at home, what would you like to talk about? Send us your tweet question ideas at the hashtag Nesson Twitter, and we'll pick the best question and then reveal the best tweets later in the game.
And they may be doing that right now. Hashtag Nesson Twitter to get the best question of the day, and that for you a little bit later as we play on to the third inning back here at Fenway Park. And it is 9-1-2 for the Halos. J.B. Shuck to lead it off. And then Mike Trout and Josh Hamilton expected to bat in the inning.
I like to go back to we were talking about playing left field. I'm curious, Jim, did you ever talk to Carl Crawford when he was here? Because he just seemed to me as the guy who he couldn't quite figure it out. He couldn't quite figure out the depth of which he felt comfortable playing.
I did, but, it's a little different because he's a left-handed thrower. And in the history of the Red Sox, you have not really had anyone to spend a lot of time here as far as being a left-handed thrower. So to go down in the corner, he's got to turn all the way around. For a right-hander, he's normally would throw the ball to any base, and he's in position. So it was tougher for a left-handed thrower.
He's going to get down into the gap. Ellsbury quickly grabs it, but to second base standing goes J.B. Shuck to start the top half of the third inning.
But Carl, I think he was afraid of the wall. The wall is your friend. You got to go out there and you got to play the wall. And he never really learned or grasped as far as that wall was his friend.
He let a lot of balls drop in behind him before they hit the wall, more than I can remember a lot of guys. And obviously he was a very good fielder. He was a very good fielder in Tampa. But that player, above all players I've seen play here, the wall had gotten in his head more than anything.
Yes, I mean, it would have been tough if they had the concrete back there like when I started out. But it was very tough because you have so many variations there. You got to worry about the wind. You got to worry about, the wall. You got to worry about the corner. You got to worry about the ladder. You got to worry about the scoreboard. So a lot of things that we're talking about, he didn't really grasp out there because he didn't really go out there and have that kind of experience.
Where is the worst ricochet now? I mean, it's different now with the scoreboard extending all the way across. But for you, where was the toughest ricochet off the wall?
I think any line that you're talking about at the wall where the CVS at, that the ball can hit and go left or the ball can go right, all depends on what kind of spin is on the ball. But if you're playing left field, anything to my left, I know that I can go and get the ball before Freddie would get it. I would have Freddie go exactly back to the wall, and I'll surround Freddie. But anything to my right, I was in favor that I can take it.
J.B. Shuck has doubled to begin the top of the third inning. Mike Trout, the batter, he struck out looking first time up and is down to the count 1-2. We'll get set for every Red Sox game on NESN with Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. NESN's pregame coverage of the Sox begins an hour before every game. DCU, Federal Credit Union, banking the DCU way.
That metal scoreboard cannot be any kind of bargain out there. We saw that with Gomes the other night.
It's a little different now. If you look at when I play in the way the ballpark is right now, you really have to depend on a lot of the wind. The wind has a lot to do with it. When I played, you had the concrete. You didn't really have what you have out there right now. And it was just the fun of going out there really getting to know that wall. I mean, Johnny Pesky and I worked on that wall every day.
Nice stab here by Dempster as he looked the runner back and then fired to first to get Trout. That's a big out, and the first out here in the third inning. As Josh Hamilton will step in, and Dempster not out of the woods yet by any means. Hamilton grounded out to the shortstop Stephen Drew in the shift in his first at bat. And a swing and a miss for strike one.
There's a perfect example of what's wrong with Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton is going to swing at a ton of pitches outside the strike zone. He started doing it more and more at the end of, or really in the middle of last year, and this is when he gets in these runs.
It is weird, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. When he is going good, he is among the game's best. When he is going bad, he can look real bad. There's an 0-2 now.
Well, that's why I think it was an interesting conversation in the offseason, because the Red Sox weren't going to go beyond 3 years. If Hamilton was going to come down to them at 3 years, it would have been an engaged conversation. But they never did, and so it never got that far. But can you imagine Josh Hamilton going through this in Boston?
It would be pretty tough.
I would imagine it would be a lot tougher than it is in Anaheim. Now, David Ortiz was a huge proponent of Josh Hamilton coming here. He actually told me the other day that he thought Josh Hamilton was going to come here. But you can understand that. We talked earlier about the protection in the lineup, the dynamic he had with Manny and Euclid. That's the type of guy that he can really thrive off of.
Well, Hamilton down here 1-2 in the count. This will be the 50th pitch of the day for Ryan Dempster. And a fly ball to right. Nava coming in will get there to make the catch. And Shuck back to the bag at second as Nava races in for the second out of the inning. So 2 down and a leadoff double by Shuck, but he's still hanging out at second base as Albert Pujols is coming up.
So when you're talking about Hamilton, what do you see besides strikeout? You see a big swing, right? So you as a player, if you know, and your coaching staff have told you, your swing is too big. Somewhere it should register in your head that you got to cut down on your swing, right? So you as a hitter, you got to go out and you got to watch your video and say, what can I do to cut down? And you look at Ted Williams' book. Ted Williams said, what? Left-handed hitters at a 45-degree angle, pretend that you're cutting down a tree. He'll be much better off if he goes at a 45-degree angle. And these are the things that guys are not doing. They want to see how far they can hit the ball, and they feel like they can hit the ball farther by having a big swing. A lot of strikeouts.
You're saying shorter, quicker.
Short and quick, more compact.
Well, here's the example. The other day, Mike Napoli's up. I think he was with the bases loaded. First pitch, takes an enormous swing. Gets 2 strikes on, has to shorten his swing, hits a nice ball to first base, gets the runner in. He said after the game, I don't know why he didn't do that in the first pitch.
1 to Pujols, and he gets hit. Let's take a look out on his way down to first base at Dempster. We've talked about it before. This is a guy that has worn out Ryan Dempster over the course of his career, and Dempster gets him with a fastball, 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all that Albert Pujols is upset here, because not only did he hit a home run earlier, it was his 8th home run against Dempster in his career. And if you want to take it a step further, last night you had an incident where C.J. Wilson brushed back Mike Napoli, and Napoli took a couple steps to the mound.
First time Dempster has ever hit Pujols, but he hits him here. And only the second batter that Dempster has hit all season. So runners at first and second, 2 down, and Mark Trumbo coming up. Angels already on top 1-0. Trumbo with 15 home runs on the season. That'll bounce in and get away. Moving from second to third is Shuck, as he kicked off Salty up the first baseline on what will likely be a wild pitch. Remaining at first base was Pujols.
Yeah, Saltomaki doesn't have a chance here. This also shows you how poorly Pujols is moving. That he's not able to advance the second. Doesn't even really make an effort at it.
He's still balling down there. But you know, when you old school, you sort of expect that. You know, he didn't try to get out of the way at all. But still, it's sort of respect. You know, to me, if I'm Pujols, he hits me like that. As long as I'm not hitting the head, I'm okay, because I know I got his number, and you expect that.
It's when it's up underneath your chin or head area where I guess it changes everything.
Well, I mean, you talking about Napoli yesterday, that would have bothered me more than anything else. Yeah. You know, you don't do that.
Well, you know, in fairness, C.J. Wilson did put his phone number on Twitter. So I know that was a real problem back in the 1970s.
Not good.
That is framed by Saltalamacchia, but outside it is 3-0 now to Mark Trumbo.
Jim, I remember the instant where you're pointing the bat back out at the pitcher, and I can't remember which pitcher it was. Did you ever charge the mound?
No, you never charge. You walk out there. You never run out there, because somebody can blindside you. So you want to make sure you walk out there and you can see everything.
Arrive on the scene slower. That is ball 4, and it is Trumbo down to first base with his second walk given up by Dempster of the day, as Pujols moved to second base, and now Dempster's got a bases loaded 2-out situation, and Howie Kendrick, who started the day hitting .328, is coming up. No concern here from Juan Nieves, as Dempster has that pitch count on the rise also. Kendrick did strike out swinging in the first inning, one of 3 strikeouts today for Ryan Dempster. And a swing and a miss. This is the slider that time, and it's 0-1. Big spot here for Dempster early in the game. That'll miss as Kendrick doesn't chase.
Who was the pitcher that you pointed the bat at?
I had a little incident, I guess, with Dave, Steve, and Matt Keogh.
That's it, Dave, Steve.
You know, Steve hit me a couple times, and I went deep. And, you know, anyone that knows the history of Dave, Steve, I mean, the guy got pinpoint control. And so he got fed up with it. It was like a punching bag.
1-1 to Kendrick is going to be a one-hopper that explodes on Drew. He's got it to second for the force out. Gets Dempster out of a heck of a jam here in the top half of the third inning. What a play as Drew is able to get Trumbo at second base. It's 1-0 Angels. Children's organization. Today we welcome the League School of Greater Boston from North Attleboro, Mass. to historic Fenway Park. Dunkin' Donuts committed to the community. 1-0. The Angels have the lead over the Red Sox. And last inning, Albert Pujols was hit by a Ryan Dempster pitch and was certainly none too pleased. He thought it was intentional after he had homered already in the game and has several home runs off Dempster, and this was the play to end last inning. Is the pitch in there for a strike? Jose Iglesias leading it off here in the bottom of the third inning. Red Sox have one hit so far off Joe Blanton, who has looked pretty good already.
28 pitches. I know that we all want quicker games, but from the Red Sox point of view, that's not their game.
Iglesias grounds one left side, and from short left, Ibar has no chance. Pretty good bid, though, for Ibar. Off balance throw, but now Iglesias running as he gets down there and gets himself a base hit. That's the second Red Sox hit of the day. And Jose Iglesias has looked like a different guy this year from an offensive standpoint, known for his defense, but so far he's been great offensively.
I think it started in spring training. Instead of trying to hit the long ball, I guess you know your capability. He's the type of guy that you got to tell him you're a base hit guy. You're more of a table set. And if you want to try to hit home run, wait till you get a pitcher's count. You just don't go up there from day one and try to hit home runs. And I think once they get in his head that he's a line drive guy, he's got a chance to make the ball club.
13-game hitting streak now for him as he leads off with that base hit. And here is Jacoby Ellsbury.
You know, Jim, we were talking about off-season workouts, and one thing Iglesias did instead of playing winter ball was go down and work out and work on getting stronger and lifting weights. Whereas a lot of people said the one thing this guy needs is more at-bats. I don't know where you came down on that philosophy with him. Obviously, he's worked out so far, but you would think that he needs to see a lot more pitches.
Well, I'm just going to tell you about myself. I went to winter ball every year. We had Florida Instructional League, and then I played 1 year in Venezuela. I played as much baseball as I possibly could at that time to get to the big league, found out what I had to do. And when you go to Venezuela, Dominican Republic, you have a tendency of playing with major league ball players. And that's when you know you come from AA and AAA. You see major league ball players, you start hitting pretty good. That gives you a good idea of when you go to spring training what you expect because you've been watching major league players. So I think it's more of getting quality at bats from more experience.
Jim, of course, you work with a lot of guys during spring training. I know it is great to have guys like you back, and of course now new additions to the organization as well as far as spring training. Pedro Martinez this year, Jason Varitek. How much do you enjoy going to spring training, still working with a lot of the younger guys? I
love spring training. I think the key thing when you're working with players is getting in their heads, what they try, how they're thinking, and those are the key things. So they can hit. If not, they won't be playing Major League Baseball. But I think when you're talking about looking at pitches and the way things are right now, you have all the videos and things that you got to work on to make yourself a better ball player. You got a chance to be pretty good, make a lot of money.
Able to get the lead runner here in Iglesias, 3-6 on the force out at second base. Ellsbury with good speed down to first base with 1 out of the inning, and that'll bring up Daniel Nava. I know this is a topic that comes up a lot now anytime you talk about Jacoby Ellsbury, but is there a chance that Ellsbury stays here beyond this year? You think the Red Sox put together some sort of package that will pacify Jacoby Ellsbury, and more importantly, Scott Boras?
Well, the first thing that we know is that they're not going to negotiate it during the season, so that makes it difficult. Then you get into the free agent market. All it's going to take is 1 or 2 teams that's going to price them out of what he's really going to demand. So I think the other thing that has to be factored in is that Jackie Bradley has shown enough where you would think that he could be the heir apparent there. So you don't have to unload the bank for a guy to be in that position for 6 or 7 years.
1 out, 1 on here. Daniel Nava, the batter.
But if he goes somewhere, you think it's more pressure on him. Because what's the payroll? I mean, what is check? This 13 mil? Something like that? What is it?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
It's 9.
It's 9 mil. If he makes 9 mil now, he's not going to make it next year. So somebody will give him more money. And so if you go somewhere else.
But you know what, Jim? You know how these guys think. They think, I'm fine with that. It won't be a problem. When Kyle Crawford signed his deal, I'm sure he was thinking, I'll be able to handle it. And he admitted, said, after the fact, the contract got to me.
Mm-hmm. And the fans will get to you, too.
No, absolutely, especially here.
I'm not saying it just any place. If you don't really go, you get another paycheck larger than one that you have here. They expect you to come out and just change the whole ball club over. And it's not that easy.
That's in there for a strike to Daniel Nava.
So I guess, Don, my roundabout answer would be, no, I do not think he will be back.
There is Pedroia waiting on deck. As Daniel Nava bats here with the runner at first. Red Sox trail 1-0. And Blanton has slowed it up here with the man on first. He will check it first, and Ellsbury back to the bag.
You know, Jim, I look at Nava and how well he's played defensively, and to think that he could play right field at all a couple of years ago was unthinkable. And now he's playing it well. You played a little bit of right field out here. How difficult is it to make that transition from Fenway Park left field to Fenway Park right field?
I think in some fields it's about the same because really the sun sets in right field. That's the key thing as far as playing right field. Every ballpark you normally go into, I think Yankee Stadium, Texas, only a couple of ballparks I can remember the sun sets in left field. But you got angles. The whole ballpark is up in angles. So you mainly got to worry about that once the ball get down by the top there, to hope that it hugs the lines. You can go out and block it up. But you just got to come out and just play this ballpark. And just when pitchers out there, tell the pitchers get out of the way, and you take every ball that you possibly can get.
Ellsbury gets his 24th stolen base of the year. Well, he is the American League leader, and he adds to it. He's got 3 more stolen bases than Nate McLouth of the Orioles, and he gets into scoring position with that 24th theft. He had a great jump.
He has a lot of confidence stealing bases right now. We talked about that in Philadelphia, that everyone focusing on his confidence at the plate, but I think it's translated also to him running. You just see he's taking a much different approach than he did earlier in the year.
And you can't get a jump on Blanton. Base runners are 8 for 8 on the year in stolen base bids. This is a number that'll be a foul ball. An indication by the home plate umpire Marty Foster. As Iannetta jumped out quickly and aggressively, but It's called foul.
You know, we talk about Ellsbury's potential contract, and really kind of the way that he's going right now is a year similar to Michael Bourne. And
that worked out.
Well, it worked out to a certain degree. And the outfield market isn't nearly what it was last year. So Ellsbury's going to have a much more of an advantage. But I think that people thought more because you're talking about a guy who hit 32 home runs. But maybe this is what it is. You have 50-plus stolen bases. You have 5 to 9 home runs, and you hit 280 to 300.
So I think the confusing thing is, which guy are you getting? Are you getting the 30-plus home run guy? Are you getting the 70 stolen base guy? I mean, what do you get? And I think that's what's maybe going to be part of the problem when you go to buy.
I think what we're seeing right now is you're getting the 2010 Jacoby, right, or that sort of guy. So,
which is very good.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But everyone, you always are going to come back to that 32 home runs.
May do that, but when you're talking about a guy like Ellsbury, not necessarily hit me 30 home runs or 20 home runs. You look at a good example. Some guy named Johnny Pesky got 200 hits. Let this guy get me 200 hits, and I'll take my chance on him stealing 30 bases or 40 bases. I would let this guy just concentrate on trying to make line drives, gap to gap. You know, just get me 200 hits. Even I got that, and I couldn't even run.
Now Ellsbury here at second base with 1 out. Nava turning in another good at bat as he usually does, and sees a lot of pitches. This is pitch number 6 of this at bat. And Nava turns it around into right field for a base hit. Ellsbury will come around from second, and this game is tied at 1. So Nava able to jump on that breaking ball and line it into right field. He picks up his 40th RBI, and the Red Sox tie the score at 1 aside. He's having some kind of season, given the opportunity to play every day, and he's getting it done.
Can we start talking about Daniel Nava All-Star? Really, that conversation has to begin. I mean, the other day I was looking up, I think he's 4th amongst American League outfielders in OPS, 1st in on-base percentage. He plays a great defensive outfield.
He's not a star. You know what I'm saying about that? Because people don't really think of him when you look at the Red Sox. So if people start putting him out there, yes. But right now, it's not.
That's what I'm trying to do, Jim.
Yeah. I understand.
The numbers are there.
Yeah, right.
The name is certainly not.
He's not on the All-Star ballot. That doesn't help either.
That hurts. Makes it very difficult. Not a lot of write-ins end up on the All-Star team. As Dustin Pedroia stands in, Red Sox have tied the score as Blanton misses up and away.
But we've talked about what a great story is. The All-Star is another example of that. I asked him, when the last time you played on an All-Star team? Not been named to a team, but played on a team. He said Little League.
So it's been a while.
Yes.
There's a pretty short lead at first base, held on over there by Trumbo. Pedroia takes the 1-1 for ball 2. On deck is David Ortiz. Of course, they tarp off the batter's eye now here at Fenway Park and have the last number of years. Was it tarped off when you played, or are you dealing with fans out there in straightaway center?
We dealt with fans. We did not look up in the stands unless there's a ball hit up there. You hope you hitting it.
No, it is a good development for hitters today, as this is through the left side into left field, a base hit. Up to second base goes Nava on the single by Dustin Pedroia. So 2 on now with 1 out. I want to remind you, coming up tomorrow on the Dennis and Callahan Show, DNC will preview the Bruins and Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Final, plus break down today's rubber game of the Angels and Red Sox. All begins at 6 a.m. right here on Nesson at 93.7 WEI FM. So 2 on here with 1 out. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach out there for the Angels. And Pedroia ups his hitting streak to 13 games. That equals what Jose Iglesias has been able to do from a hitting streak perspective. And the Red Sox have tied the game now, looking to pull ahead with David Ortiz coming up next.
Dustin Pedroia will make the All-Star team. That's a bold prediction, I understand. But
will he get the fan vote, though? Cano's ahead right now.
No,
right?
I don't think he will, but he'll find his way on that team, Don.
I feel strongly about that, too.
I think this guy got a chance.
I think he's got a very good chance. David singled to right field in the second inning. What do you think about the All-Star game counting these days and whether or not you end up with the home field advantage in the World Series?
I don't think anything about it, because I think that if you have the home field advantage as me being an opposing team, I'm gonna come and try to beat you at home anyway. I mean, I'm trying to beat you at my ballpark too, but it's even better when I beat you at your home place. So I think it's more of an advantage for the opposing team to go than anything else.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's an absolute joke, Don.
It is.
It really is, because if you could see, the players are catching private jets in the 5th and the 6th innings.
They're not even there for the end of the game.
They're not.
Right.
It's unbelievable. I understand what you want to do, but unless you're telling the players that you have to stay till the end of the game, then to me it's out the window.
High fly to deep right center field. Trout and Hamilton going back at the wall. It's gone. Big Papi has hit a 3-run home run, and the Red Sox take a 4-1 lead. Ortiz with his 13th of the year. Ortiz with a blast that has the Red Sox on top by 3 into the bullpen. And that ball carried very well into right center field. Four home runs in the last 7 games. Now here is Mike Napoli. And he'll take ball 1 down and away. Red Sox have now hit 71 home runs this season. With it, Hess and Hess Express will donate $500 to the Red Sox Foundation. Brings the season total of $35,500. Hess and Hess Express committed to helping the cause. That's a strike, 1-1. And he is locked in.
He is. And if you notice, the 2 outfielders out there, they thought the ball was going to stay in the ballpark. But you got to check that wind. The ball just kept going and going and going.
As did I. I didn't check the wind. Those guys are just kind of gliding back.
Yes. You got to put that jet stream.
The ball carrying very well to right field, as we saw on the Pujols home run in the first inning. And David pointing to the wind. This pitch is there for strike 3. Napoli does not like the call and says some stuff to Marty Foster as he strikes out for the 2nd time today.
I don't blame him.
You think it's a little low, do you?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of you got to swing if it's close, but that's a tough one right there.
Well, Napoli agrees with you. There are 2 outs here in the inning. Bases empty for Saltalamacchia. Jared struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Now 1 of 3 strikeouts today for Joe Blanton. 1 hopper to second. Kendrick has got it, and we say goodbye to Rob Bradford, at least until Tuesday in Tampa. Thanks for your help, Rob.
Thank you, guys. Had a lot of fun.
David Ortiz has hit a 3-run home run, and the Red Sox have a 4-1 lead. Eastern Bank. You put your family first, job first, even your team first. Isn't it time someone put you first? Eastern Bank does just that with products like Eastern Free Checking. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. Now, Ryan Dempster with the first pitch here of the 4th inning. Red Sox now enjoy a 4-1 lead thanks to the 3-run home run by David Ortiz. Alberto Callaspo leading it off here in the inning. Hall of Famer Jim Rice alongside, and we welcome WEI's Mike Salk to the booth. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me in.
Well, here for 4, 5, and 6 today, and of course Rob Bradford and one of your colleagues joined us for the first 3, and I'm curious to get your take on what is the number one thing you hear more often about the Red Sox these days on the airwaves in the afternoon.
Well, finally, we're done with Jackie Bradley Jr. watch.
Yeah.
His Hall of Fame credentials took up most of the beginning part of the year.
This is struck well down to the right field corner, and it is gone. Home run for Callaspo, his 4th home run of the year. And Callaspo able to pick up the 2nd run of the day for the Angels. 2nd home run given up by Dempster. So right back at it are the Angels offensively. Yeah, that Jackie Bradley Jr. conversation seemed to linger for a long time.
Well, it did, and then it was funny to watch some of the guys that you didn't necessarily expect to be the story become the story quickly. I mean, Daniel Nava might be the most underrated guy in the league. Nobody ever talks about him. I heard you and Rob talking about him earlier, but he's good. He's really good. and that's taken people a while to figure out. But the most common thing has been the 2 guys at the top of the rotation. I mean, they have been what set the team apart, don't you think?
I definitely agree, and it has been incredible. And Buchholz adding to his lore last night. He is listed as day-to-day right now. There's a bunt bid down the third baseline by Ibar that is foul, and it is 0-2.
That's a concern too, right? I mean,
sure.
With Lester, you've seen him throw 200+ innings. Buchholz, we've never seen it, and it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means we haven't seen it yet. You hope this will be the year, but you wonder if there are things they may need to do to try to loosen the load so that if this team is going to go somewhere in September and October, he's a valuable part of it.
To left, and Karp is there to make the catch for the first out of the inning. Well, one of the points of pride of the Red Sox Foundation is their Red Sox Scholars Program presented by Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. We thank such sponsors as H.B. Hood, and we congratulate these inspiring young people. With more on this, here's Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, I'm joined now by the president and CEO of the Medical Center here, Dr. Kevin Tabb. And Kevin, we were talking about the Red Sox Scholar Program. Can you talk about the relationship between the Medical Center and the Red Sox Scholars?
It is such a phenomenal relationship. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is so proud to be associated with a program like the Red Sox Scholars Program. We've been doing this for more than 10 years, and it's really phenomenal. It's phenomenal to see some of the young scholars like Jamal, the things that they are doing. We are really pleased to be part of the community.
And selecting 10 new scholars to be inducted here at Fenway Park today. What are some of the things that they will get out of this program?
You know, they will get all kinds of things out of it, but one of the things is that they will have medical champions, people from our medical center who will accompany them throughout their high school years. They'll come and shadow at the hospital. I think that they'll be exposed to all sorts of different jobs, different things in healthcare that they might never know about otherwise.
And Jamal here, a graduate of the Red Sox Scholars Program. 10 new people getting inducted today. And a lot of people, they hear scholarship and they think it's just a scholarship, just a $10,000 scholarship, but it's so much more. Can you tell the fans at home what experience you've gained from this?
Definitely. Being with the Red Sox Foundation, I was inducted in the 5th grade. I've been with them for the past 6 years of my life, and I've been coming to Fenway a lot, building relationships with everybody at Fenway, the workers, the ambassadors. They've helped me a lot with my college applications and the financial aid. We've had a lot of college workshops. They don't only just give us the money, they actually help us find jobs. Every year we have to check in with them, tell them what we're doing in the summer if we're not doing anything. They help us find a job, help us find internships, or if we need a mentor, there's always mentors here. I connect a lot with Matt at the Red Sox Foundation, so we just talk a lot and get to know each other, and they help us with the whole process of getting through high school and getting to college.
Well, we know you are headed off to college, so good luck with that. Congratulations. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And it's a great program. Thank you, guys. Don, back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. It is an incredible program, and we thank the Red Sox Foundation for all they do. And all the young men and women who are here today and on the field at Fenway Park for the Scholars Program and graduating classes. Out is Pedroia to short right, and that is the second out here of the fourth inning.
On that play there, you as an outfielder, you see the wind, you can't give up. You got Nava got to come in, you got to surround him, because that ball would take off. And see, Dustin was still struggling a little bit. So the outfielder out there has got to come in, because he's coming in and Dustin's backpedaling. The outfielder got to take charge. When Dustin caught the ball, but the outfielder got to take charge.
I'm gathering so far and listening to you in the first couple of innings, wind here at Fenway Park is a big deal.
It is. I mean, you as a hitter, when you come to the ballpark, of course, you're going to be playing defense too, as that for an outfielder. I'm looking to see which way I can hit the ball. If the wind's blowing to the right, I'm going to back away from the plate and just try to play pepper to the right field, because it really helping me to extend my arms. When you're trying to pull the ball, you got to work twice as hard. I'd rather just hit gap to gap, and that's the way we were taught.
This one was fouled straight back. J.B. Shuck, the batter, he doubled his first time up. Well, I think, Mike Salk, that in spring training, I'm among them who thought this team may not be in the top four, perhaps in the American League East. How surprised are you to see where they are? And my perception of this team has certainly changed. How is yours?
Well, how could it not, right? I mean, unless you were such a great prognosticator that you should be in Vegas.
Right.
I mean, this was not what this team was supposed to look like, right? I mean, I think people thought they'd be above 500 and maybe get to 90 wins, but after watching them, does 94, 95 wins seem out of the question? It doesn't. Now that raises the expectation level. Maybe it puts a little bit more pressure on them to achieve what we now think they're capable of, but makes it a whole lot more fun, especially in this town where we want to have expectations. We want to have those demands upon a baseball team.
1-2 pitch is in the air to short left. Drew and Iglesias, and Stephen Drew makes the catch that ends the inning. A leadoff home run by Callaspo. 4-2 Red Sox. Mike Carp will be at the plate when we come back. Eastern Bank, running your own business takes a team effort, and as the #1 SBA lender in New England 3 years in a row, Eastern Bank is a key part of your lineup. See how Eastern Bank puts you first. It's on to the bottom of the fourth inning back at Fenway. Red Sox have a 4-2 lead as Joe Blanton returns to the hill here for the Angels. Hall of Famer Jim Rice alongside. WEI's Mike Salk is also here. Mike, you grew up in Newton, Mass, and worked here in the Boston area in radio. Then you moved out to Seattle.
Yeah, 4 years in Seattle. I got to watch Mike Carp, who weighed more when he first got to Seattle and changed his body while he was there. Patient hitter. did not do what he's doing right now, but it's interesting, and I'm sure Jim could understand better. He was being asked to be a number 4 or number 5 hitter while he was there. You drop him down today, he's hitting, what, 7th? How much easier is it for a guy who's trying to make it and trying to break in to hit 7th as opposed to be asked to hit 4th or 5th?
Well, I think your attitude changes. When you're talking about 7th, you're talking about mainly just being a line drive hitter. When you're talking about 4 and 5, you got to go deep. You're talking about 30 times a year. You're talking about maybe 100 runs knocked in. When you're batting 7th, you're talking about maybe 9 home runs, 10 home runs, and probably driving maybe 60 runs or something like that.
Nice chopper to third. Carp's able to reach on a bad throw from Alberto Callaspo that takes Trumbo off the bag at first. Yes, Callaspo had time with Carp running here to get it over there, just had it sail on him. And Trumbo coming off the bag to retrieve that as it was towards the runner. Now, Callaspo picked up an error last night. Looks like he's going to pick up another one here. And it is an error that allows Carp to reach. Here is Stephen Drew. The Mariners certainly are going through quite a bit of change out there with Ichiro gone. I'm not going to talk
Don't
Mariners
talk about
baseball.
them. Dear God, don't do that to the poor people here of New England.
I do want to talk
it's a bad
about
scene out there.
I was just going to ask you that. I mean, how different is it covering that team than this team in this area?
Well, it is definitely different, and I enjoyed my time out there. You've obviously been out to Seattle a number of times, and it was always fun to see. I mean, Dave Henderson's out there, so it's always good to see guys like that with a Boston connection. And when that team is good, they love baseball, but you know, look at this. I mean, we're here. We got the view of all of Fenway Park. People are into it. They're here early. They're into the game. It's just a passion in Boston that it's unparalleled anywhere else in the country. And I say that with all respect for the other baseball towns, but this is different.
You have to be happy to be home.
I am. How could you not be? The Bruins are going to the Stanley Cup. The Red Sox are in first place. What's not to like?
And he's here with us.
And I'm here with Jim Rice.
I said us.
He didn't. He only said Jim Rice. So.
I saw your jacket hanging up back there, Jim. I was thinking of stealing the pocket square.
Yeah, it's an expensive pocket square. I promise you that.
I wasn't sure I'd make it out of Fenway Park, though.
Don got my back.
Security after me.
Well, Mike Carp being held on at first base by Trumbo. Stephen Drew fouled out his first time up. And a swing and a miss here, 1-2. Drew bats now. Iglesias waiting on deck. Of course, J.D. Drew, the brother of Stephen Drew, and seems they're a lot alike in a lot of different ways when you talk about both players. But I always thought J.D. Drew was a very good outfielder. Always had great jumps. You would see him dive because he didn't really need to dive. He got a pretty good jump.
Yes, I mean, he knew how to play the outfield. I guess, you know, looking at the kids in the clubhouse, I think it's just a mannerism more than anything else, you know.
Yeah.
Stephen is more
look out. Back goes into the seats.
Outgoing, and he really get the head out. You saw that. And J.D.'s type of more laid back type of guy. And they were just talking about, you know, J.D. I guess he bought a house here or a condominium here. And they said, if, you know, if J.D. still had his place here, would he charge you? He said probably twice as much. That's how tight his brother is.
You're talking about a guy who made a lot of money in this game over the years. It looks like everybody's all right over there as that goes into the stands, and Drew is the first out of the fourth inning. Here's Jose Iglesias. Now, you're around the club every day. I mean, you're here a lot, you know, during the course of the season. You keep tabs with these guys after spring training, after working with them so much during the spring.
Well, I normally come to the clubhouse, even if I'm, you know, with Ness and I'm not doing, I still come to the clubhouse to see the guys. And I just love to be around the guys, just hear how some of the guys are thinking and what. Sometimes they ask me questions. That's even better for me, because I think a lot of time the pitchers ask me certain questions about the way I would try to set up hitters, which I'm not a pitcher, but still I think you need a hitter's perspective of what to look for in certain pitches.
What's the most common question you get?
I would probably say how you hit a breaking ball. And, you know, to me, a breaking ball you can do a lot with. I mean, when you hit a breaking ball, you can hit it to all facets of the field. So, I mean, you can just hit it right field. You can do a lot of things. But when they pitch you with the fastball in, it's really just mainly just one way, unless you inside out. Guys are not taught that now because you're in college and you have aluminum bats. So everyone think about hitting home runs.
Well, we just happen to have some video of you hitting. You'll be happy to know. This is not the stuff you get on the pregame show. You're in game now, and you get this stuff. Look at wow.
That was all top hand.
Wow. How much of a stride there for you?
Just short and quick.
Wow.
See it here.
Right to it.
Yeah. And that's the way we taught. I was so happy that I had Johnny Pesky for my hit instructor the whole time that I was here. And just see the ball and hitting it up front. I did his line drives now. I mean,
all we're seeing is
I know.
majestic home runs up over the screen, which, of course, is no longer here at Fenway Park. 0-2 coming to Iglesias. First to check it first and cart back to the bag.
I think one of those balls might have gone through the screen.
Did you ever imagine there is the number? Of course, we had the honor of helping you retire that number here at Fenway Park, and it was a special day for you. I know for you and your family here.
Yes.
You got the Hall of Fame, but I know this is very special to you as well to have your number retired.
Yes, and you know, when you think about it, I've been in this organization since 1971. I'm
been here a little while.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm getting old. And, you know, I was Joe Cochran was clubhouse at the home, and I asked Joe. I said, when I got a game in '89, I said, Joe, I said, why you didn't get my number somewhere? Because this is a Red Sox number. It wasn't my number.
Yeah.
And he said, because I like you. So he never gave my number out. It wouldn't have offended me at all if they had given my number out, because I was just part of the ball club. And I think after you retire, besides you know you're going to Hall of Fame. I didn't have any idea I was going to Hall of Fame. They should just give him my number out, but he didn't.
Well, it will not be worn again, as the Red Sox number 14 is retired here at Fenway Park. And it's great having Jim along here today. Mike Salk from WEI, as Blanton will take a little stroll off the hill here, as Iglesias had asked for time.
Is there anyone along the way you would have liked to have worn your number if they had given it out? Is there any player that you thought played the game the way you played it, or the way you would have liked to have seen it played?
I'll probably say you look at Mo Vaughn, you look at Nomar, you look at guys that really came to the ballpark and showed up every day and wanted to play. I guess you have to look at a guy sort of like in those two guys, or someone that really came to the ballpark and wanted to play every day.
You mentioned Johnny Pesky and the great loss of Johnny Pesky last year, and he was a very integral part of your career all the way around, it seems.
Johnny was my hitting instructor from day one. And, I mean, Walter Reniak was a good hitting instructor, but Johnny and I just clicked. And Johnny just kept it simple. I mean, I was a two-handed guy. I didn't believe in the windmill and all that stuff. And that's the way he taught me, and that's the way that I kept going. And those are some of the things that I cherish the most.
This wild pitch is going to turn into two bases. In the dirt, it kicked off Iannetta, got all the way back to the backstop, and in the process, Carp flies around the bases and gets to third. It is indeed a wild pitch uncorked by Blanton, and Iannetta couldn't find it initially. By the time he does, Carp will take third base. So that's big with one out in the inning. The Angels are now going to bring the infield in all the way around.
Yeah, I had blazing speed. That was a triple for me.
So Carp at third base, and Iglesias reaches out, pops it up. This will send Trumbo into foul ground, and he'll make the catch. Not sure he knew how much room he had as he made his way into foul ground to make the catch for the second out of the inning. No advance for Carp at third base. Two down, in this infield for the Angels can now back up. So two down for Jacoby Ellsbury. What's it like working with Michael Holley every day?
Oh, it's a treat.
He's a good man.
That's why I come to work every day. The opportunity to sit next to Michael Holley and argue about sports from 2 to 6.
Do you guys like each other? Or
no, not at all.
Not really.
Not yet. No, we do. Michael's great, and we kind of hit it off right away. Not that we have much of a choice. If we don't hit it off, I mean,
yeah. What are you going to do?
I said it's like an arranged marriage. It kind of has to work.
Was there discussion about whose name comes first? I mean, that's always kind of a big deal.
I heard there was discussion before I got here. I was not involved in any discussion. Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe just the one-syllable name goes first, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
So
it wasn't something you negotiated as part of your contract.
I thought about it. I decided money was more important to me than my name. It's funny how that works. But you get it. You sit in sort of the host chair as doing play-by-play with Jerry, and I think most people would say Don and Jerry. I don't think there's any. Your name comes first. You're doing the play-by-play. You're kind of a big deal.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't think Jerry thinks that.
Does he even introduce you guys as Jerry and Don?
He doesn't introduce me at all for the most part.
You know he's listening.
I know he is. And Jerry's going to be back very soon as well. We send the best out to the Rem Dog today, who's still recovering as this pitch is in there for a strike.
He's disappointed. No Wally.
No, Wally lives with Jerry.
I didn't realize
so
that.
when Jerry's not here, Wally's not here.
I imagined Wally here with a sort of like a trundle bed.
Right.
Folds out.
He actually lives in Jerry's back, which a lot of people don't know. This is in the air to left field, down the line towards the corner, and the wind will not bring it back. Ends up in the seats.
Sounds a little claustrophobic.
Covidien, delivering innovative healthcare products across the globe, is a proud sponsor of the Red Sox Foundation. So 2 down here in the inning, and Carp at third base. Jacoby Ellsbury with a count of 2-2. That'll miss just low, and it's a full count. Blanton up to 73 pitches in his outing, with 2 down here in the 4th inning. It's a guy who comes in with a record of 1-9, and Red Sox got to him for 4 runs in the 3rd inning. Line to right. It's a fair ball. It'll head towards the corner.
Triple.
Carp will score. Jim Rice wants a triple. He's calling it. And Ellsbury will get it standing. The Red Sox take a 5-2 lead. You knew triple right away, looking down at that corner.
And watching the play and looking at Hamilton go at the ball, he didn't really want the ball to get by, so he had to take his time, make sure that the ball hit the camera and come back towards him. If the ball gets by, inside the park.
Same area as the pitch before, and Ellsbury goes down to get it and lines it into right field. So the wild pitch, the 2-base wild pitch gets Carp to third. The triple gets him in, and the Red Sox have a 5-2 lead. He came hitting streak down for Ellsbury at 486. Now Nava bats and takes strike 1.
How about the way Ellsbury accelerates right before second base? He's running, and then he just kind of hit his full stride. You can really see it from up here well.
Looks like he's got another gear when he needs it.
Well, I mean, when Arcelo down there, I mean, he just get it right from the batter's box, just hit it, and he just go. You know what I mean? You know, just pass the baton.
In the air to center field. Trout going back. He'll have room as he turns and makes the catch that ends the inning. But Jacoby Ellsbury, all kinds of speed. His triple drives in the 5th Red Sox run. 7th when the Portland Sea Dogs take on the Harrisburg Senators. This family-friendly event also features Dog Day at Fenway and a performance by Kids Bop Kids, Billboard's #1 Kids Artist of the Year. Tickets start at $5 and can be purchased at redsox.com/futures or by calling 877-RED-SOX-9. Look from the monster seats out there. Jim, could you ever imagine seats being at the top of that wall you used to man?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Can you imagine people looking over your shoulder now out there? I mean,
you look at the light tower and you just see how they just put seats around the light towers. It's just amazing.
It looks like they've always been there, too, and I know they haven't. I know you know they haven't.
That's one thing we know for sure.
Yeah, Mike Trout leading it off here for the Angels in the 5th inning with Boston on top 5-2. They add a run. Trout is 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the 1st and grounded back to the mound in the 3rd.
Talk about some of the differences of being in other ballparks and other cities, and this ballpark is one of them. I mean, I think we kind of take it for granted, and we know there's people that come in to see the ballpark almost as a tourist place. Not that it's a tourist trap, but that they want to see it as a landmark. And I don't know, coming back for the first time here a couple days ago.
Off the bottom of the wall with a thud as heading to second base as Trout has got another double.
Watch out for the microphone. Jeez. Kind of just looking and being in the park and realizing just how long this place has been here and just how many things have happened here. It's unique. I mean, there's only a couple of ballparks left. There aren't that many arenas at all that have the kind of age and history that this place has. And I think I had sort of taken it for granted, I think, for a long time. It's been nice to see it.
The great thing about it is the amount of renovations that they have done here to bring this up to speed as far as modern ballparks go. You really realize it when you go to Wrigley Field, and Wrigley Field is what Wrigley Field was. I mean,
right.
There's no difference there. They're trying to do upgrades right now. They're in the process of doing that. But this place, I mean, from Jim, when you played, I mean, just the facilities that the players have are so much better. Places that they can go, things they can do within the clubhouse.
I mean, you know, one thing you got to look at as far as the stadium is fan friendly. I mean, it's mainly for the kids. When you're speaking of going in the clubhouse, I've seen a lot of things have changed in the clubhouse.
For the better, right?
Yes, and they're really doing things out in the corridor as far as having a variety of food and things for the kids and for the fans and everything is. And of course, you got the souvenirs. So they have a lot of attraction as far as showing you some of the history of the Red Sox and some of the players that have been here.
Runner at second, nobody out, and an 0-2. It'll bounce in. Saltalamacchia able to block it. 1-2. No advance for Trout at second base.
What was the worst park you played in?
Probably old Cleveland.
Municipal Stadium?
It was.
Not much of a pause there.
But, you know, I enjoy going to the ballpark. I hit very well there. But also, when you're talking about going to old Detroit, if you're over 6 feet, you can come down through the dugout. Oh. So you had a lot of forehead bruises there. But, you know, a lot of old ballparks are very mystique. And, you know, just good ballparks to play in.
That is strike 3 to Hamilton.
Which one do you miss?
Kansas City. Seattle was pretty bad because in the turf. I mean, they didn't really have good turf at the time. In Kansas City, it's almost like Fenway Park. You really can't defense the lines down there. When you go to Kansas City, left field line, it was always a drain. Well, always still a drain there, and that's the way the drainage used to go. So if the ball got in the drain, Willie Wilson said, "I'll see you later." I mean, it gets down there inside the park because you had to follow the drain.
And, of course, the AstroTurf was there for a number of years now. Kauffman Stadium has natural grass. But what didn't you like about Municipal Stadium? I know it was a huge place, and it was tough to get a crowd there. Was it the atmosphere that you didn't like, just the stadium itself?
Just the clubhouse. I mean, you know, it was like... I don't know.
Tired, was it?
It wasn't. It was just an old football ballpark that it was not made for a baseball field. But, you know, it's like when a guy is going bad, he want to go to ballparks like that because no one in the ballpark. So who cares if you go 0 for 4 or anything? We played there one day. I remember Roger Clemens pitching, and no exaggeration, probably it holds about 80,000, maybe 3,500 people came to the game. I think Roger had about 16, 17 strikeout that night. And out of the 3,500, 2,200 were probably Roger's friends. So that was it. So Cleveland was the type of city that you want to go in when you're not going so good. I mean, you walk through downtown at 5 o'clock, I mean, you see hundreds and hundreds of people. And after that, 5 o'clock, no one on the street. No one.
Now, you like Baltimore, and Baltimore had like the football-style clubhouse too, right? At Memorial Stadium?
Baltimore, but that was a ballpark that when you went there, you saw some stars. You saw some guys that could play the game of baseball, and that meant a lot to a lot of the players also.
There's a 1-2 pitch to, he's going to have to wait as Dempster goes off the backside and Pujols steps out. This has been an interesting couple of at-bats today, Dempster and Pujols. We gave you the numbers before as Pujols over the years has worn out Dempster. Pujols homers off him in the first inning, then Dempster hits him in the third inning. Home run was home run number 10 of the year for Albert Pujols. On the other way, a ball that just carried into the Red Sox bullpen. And then he gets hit and was none too pleased. A look or two and a word or two for Dempster as he headed up the line to first base and a few glances out in his direction. Now they meet again with a count of 2-2. And it's Dempster who's going to win this battle, I think.
Center fielder.
Look out. It is the center fielder who makes the catch. 2 down in the inning as we send it down to Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, we had our fans at home help us out with our AT&T Twitter question of the day, and we decided to go with Kevin. And his question was, in the majors, would you rather have the best offense or the best pitching? So send us your best tweets using the hashtag plate or mound, and we'll reveal the best ones later in the game.
What do you think, Jim? Best
Offense.
offense. I'm not shocked by that answer from you.
Because you know why? Because I don't think a pitcher can go out there and throw a perfect game. And if you make mistakes, if you got a good offense, they're going to get you.
Nowhere to hide.
You can't hide. You can't run.
I think I saw Mike Scioscia just tweeted defense and pitching after watching his team so far this year. 12th in offense, 25th in pitcher ERA. It's supposed to be great.
Another unearned run for one of their pitchers again here in Blanton after the throwing error by Callaspo. You know, and that's not like a Mike Scioscia team, really. You look back over the years, I mean, they are very good fundamentally.
Well, he's got a great reputation.
No fundamentals. See, that's the thing about no fundamentals.
Well, you just wonder whether or not this team is well suited for his managerial style, though, right? I mean, they brought in all of these sluggers between Hamilton and Pujols. And I know Trout can run. They got some guys who can run. But when I think of Mike Scioscia, I think of aggressive baseball, which sometimes is going to cost you outs. How many outs do you want to have? How many outs do you want to lose when you've got guys like Pujols and Hamilton in the middle of your lineup?
He's definitely a guy who manages with a roster that usually has different parts to it than what he's got right now. You think back to the years where Ibar and his Turris and even Sean Figgins before he went to Seattle. I mean, he was a big part of what he likes to do, likes to suicide squeeze, likes to hit and run. He's lined into center field for Trumbo from second base. Trout is going to score. A little bobble out there for Ellsbury. And Trout comes in, and now it is a 5-3 game. So the Angels with 2 outs able to pick up another run here in the 5th inning. Jacoby charging this ball, and it glances off the glove. They give him an RBI. No error on the play. It appeared Trout was going to score anyway with his speed. And that is the 3rd Angels run of the day. There's Howie Kendrick. Kendrick 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. Jim, was there a place where you felt uncomfortable playing? I think of Yankee Stadium when I talk to a lot of players. It's not like the new one's not like the old one because it's pushed back a little bit. The old one where you had the overhang. Was that a place you were comfortable out there playing?
Yeah, I didn't know what TC was talking, I think last week, and he was telling me about my batting average. I've hit well over 300. And Yankee Stadium had 30-some home runs. So Yankee Stadium was a pretty good ballpark.
All right. You were very comfortable there.
Very good.
Well, the Angels get a run. Big Papi will be part of the trio coming up when we come back. of the Boston Red Sox. Well, the Angels getting a run in the top half of the 5th inning. It's on to the bottom of the 5th. Red Sox have a 5-3 lead. And it is 3-4 and 5 for the Red Sox scheduled in the inning. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Napoli as Blanton is back on the mound. 77 pitches deep into his outing. Third AB of the day for Pedroia, who has grounded out and singled. Mike Salt from WEI is here, and so is Hall of Famer Jim Rice, as we come to you from Fenway Park, game 3 of the series and last game of the homestand before the Red Sox ship out to St. Petersburg and Baltimore on the next road trip. You were talking, Jim, about some of the great Orioles. I know you really enjoyed playing against a guy like Eddie Murray, who is such a talent for the Orioles for so many years.
And Jim Palmer, because I hit him pretty
too,
good.
Yeah. Another Hall of Famer who.
Yeah. You got to get those Hall of Famers.
What do you think your numbers were against Jim Palmer? Do you know how many home runs you had?
Call him and he would tell you.
He will tell you what pitch he threw on every home run you had.
Yeah, it was always the battle. I mean, when you're talking about certain pitchers, as far as, you know, your Guidry, you're talking about your Palmer, you're talking about so many great pitchers that would just really go out and challenge you. That's one thing about pitchers during that time. They tried to make sure that if the big hitter's coming up, no one on base. They don't mind giving up those singles, home run, but they don't want to give them doubles. And of course, a couple of times they would pitch around certain hitters to get to the next guy. And that's what it was all about. It was just good, hard baseball.
Is it hard when you're a guy with your kind of power to just take what they're giving you?
That's the key thing. I mean, when you're talking about a good hitter, that's what you take. Not necessarily the home runs, just the base hits. To me, you know, I enjoy getting base hits, not the home runs. Your home runs are going to come on a mistake. And I don't think anyone can come to the ballpark and say, I'm going to hit 2 home runs today. So you go to the ballpark and you say, I'm trying to work in a series where I'm, you know, I would say 10-3 or 3-10. So the time that I'm out there, I'm trying to get 3 hits out of 10 times at bat, just get me 300 batting average.
Well, with all the power coming up to the plate right now, we would like to teach our fans at home how to hit like an all-star. So, fans, scan the code on your TV screen right now, and it'll have all Hall of Famer Jim Rice teach you how to the proper batting approach to every at-bat. Nesson and Nesson.com and Irving Oil, helping you learn the game like pros from the pros.
Now, David, coming up here is 2 for 2 today. A single in the 2nd inning, a home run in the 3rd. It was a 3-run home run into the bullpen, and his 13th round tripper of the year. I know a lot of very good hitters, and maybe they're not Hall of Famers, but all-stars. I know sometimes they have a tough time articulating how they did what they did when they go to instruct. How much, and I know you were a very good hitting coach, how much did you enjoy coaching hitting and still continue to do so during spring training?
I did. I will get back to that, but I don't think I asked you a question about Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray is probably one of the top, no doubt, he was one of the top hitters all time in baseball. I think Eddie didn't really start switch hitting until he got to the big leagues.
Is that right?
And he became a pretty good switch hitter. And they was talking about the Ted Williams seats up there. And I watched Eddie hit a couple of balls up there. Bob Stanley, that I think, went a little further than that seat up there. And you become a hitting coach, Don, the guys got to believe in you. Those are the key things. I think once a guy believes in you, you're going to be successful with him and with yourself, because a lot of guys are stuck in certain situations. They don't really want to make a change, and they feel like that when you come there, you're trying to make a change. The only thing you're trying to do is to get them to be better and think a little different at the plate. Just take what a pitcher gives you.
It's a lot about trust, then.
It is, no doubt. And some guys will go along with your program. Some guys won't. They're not willing to change.
Swing and a miss here from Mike Napoli, who's already struck out twice today.
Feeling bad for Bob Stanley over here.
Yeah, Bob.
Poor Steamer. He just got thrown right under the bus.
No, he would tell you himself. The guys back then say, hey, look, if I'm going to give it up, I want to give up a long one.
Yeah.
I mean, the long one is as good as the cheap one, but when you give up a cheap one, they cry about that. When you hey, that was pretty good.
Big fly's a big fly.
Oh, that's what they call it. When Bo came and they was playing Boardwalk baseball in Florida, and he hit one off All-Can Boyd. All-Can Boyd came off the mound back towards the pitcher, back towards home plate, and just looked at it. He said, hey, look, if I'm going to give it up, I want to be able to see it.
I'll watch it, too.
And that's what he did.
Just watching a 30-30 the other day at ESPN, and Bo Jackson, what an incredible athlete he was, and how could he how good he could have been. You think about if his career had not been marred by the hip situation in football. But what if he was just a baseball player the entire time? What kind of career do you think he would have had?
Hall of Fame. Yeah. I mean, this guy just had raw talent. You know, I love King Griffey Jr., but when you talk about raw talent, Bo probably was the best.
Here's a swing and a miss, and for the third time today, Mike Napoli's down by way of the K. We're through 5. Red Sox have a 5-3 lead. Bruins know their opponent will begin the official countdown to the Stanley Cup Final, which will open Wednesday night in Chicago against the Blackhawks. We'll also have a complete recap of today's game here at Fenway against the Angels and let you know what's going on in the NBA Finals. All that and more on NESN Daily tonight on NESN. And speaking of NESN Daily, great to see Jamison Coyle is here with his family, his wife and his mom and his dad, who had a chance to meet them before the game and enjoying a beautiful afternoon here from Fenway Park as the Red Sox have a 5-3 lead into the 6th inning. Alberto Callaspo leading it off here in the 6th. He's been aboard twice, a walk and a solo home run. In there for a high strike, and it's 1-2.
Still trying to figure out how Eddie Murray became a switch hitter in the big leagues. How does that work?
Talent. Just go out and
That's
work.
freakish.
Just talent. I mean, and notice when Eddie certain pitchers that were right-handed pitchers, he batted right-handed instead of left-handed, especially on knuckleballs, because you saw the ball a little different, and guys said the ball would come to you to right-handed. So a lot of guys, not a lot, but most of the guys that were switch hitters, I think Pete Rose did something like that too. Certain guys they could see better.
You ever try batting lefty?
No, I had enough trouble batting right.
Well, this would be pitch number 100 for Ryan Dempster today. And it's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Callaspo takes with him the 5th strikeout from Ryan Dempster. Ace Ticket brings you the pitching line for Ryan Dempster, who's now 5 1/3 deep, 6 hits, 3 runs. He's walked 2 and struck out 5.
Ryan Dempster, 11th in the league in missing bats.
Yeah, there's a lot of swing and miss.
A lot of swing and miss. And by the way, Bland's actually not that far behind him. He's 38th in the league. Not that he's shown that today, giving up a bunch of runs. But Dempster is ahead of some of the guys you would expect to see ahead of him, just even on the Red Sox. Clay Buchholz, John Lester, etc.
A lot of big strikeout numbers for Dempster, especially to begin the year in the first couple of outings as far as strikeouts go. And Dempster this season has had 2 10 strikeout performances. Today he has 5 Ks. And pitch in there for strike 2, Ibar. there is action for the Red Sox for the first time today in the Boston pen. It's Craig Breslow who is up for Boston. Now in Crowd's Ibar, and it is 2-1. Chris Iannetta waits on deck. As the Angels are here today, and the Red Sox have not yet been to the West Coast this season. How tough was that for you, going coast to coast and playing out there for maybe 3-city tour, which is what's coming up for the Red Sox?
I think you as a player, you have to prepare yourself. When you talk about a player that's playing every day, I don't think he really thinks about it. He just go out there and just play the game. He knows how much rest he needs and things like that, and just make sure that you get your regular sleep and just eat right.
Well, it's time now for a Toyota game break. Here's your friend Tom Caron.
TC.
All right, Tom, we look forward to that, and Tom will be stopping by next inning as well. In the 7th year from Fenway Park today, and you don't have double duty, right? You're not doing the post-game show too, are you?
No, Tim's taking care of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Wake was here. Iannetta was swinging a miss, and it's a ball and a strike. Providence, Rhode Island's own Chris Iannetta coming here with the Angels. Started his career with the Colorado Rockies. Sailed foul off to the right out of play, and it's 1-2.
Get some people tweeting questions at me for Jim Rice.
Ooh,
at Salt WEEI.
Good stuff.
They want to know about strikeouts. Watching Mike Napoli, who had a couple of them today, whether that was an issue for you, not personally, but in terms of, was a strikeout worse than another kind of an out?
Well, rule number one, that in order to hit the ball, you got to swing. So you're going to have strikeouts. You probably can go back and look at some of my numbers, and I think a couple of times I struck over 100 times a year, and I say hit 300. He's not trying to strike out. It just means that he's swinging through the ball. The pitcher's really hitting their spots. But as for a strikeout, you got to swing the bat. I mean, now we talked about it earlier. Guys are not choking up on the bat. They're not trying to be short and quick, not making any kind of adjustment.
Well, Iannetta swings and strikes out. Marriage proposals at Fenway Park. It was a yes. .110 pitches through his first 6 innings today. His team is on the right side of a 5-3 score. There's Jared Saltalamacchia. The swing and a miss to open up the bottom of the 6th inning. Salty today has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2 against Joe Blanton, whose next pitch will be his 93rd of the contest. And it's outside, 1-1. Did you have more questions for Jim Ed?
Well, got a lot of people all over it. Everybody wants to ask a question of a Hall of Famer. One from G. Francis says your best year was definitely 1978.
This is driven to center. Trout is back, and he's going to watch it leave. On to the batter's eye, and straight away center field. Jared Saltalamacchia has got his 7th home run, and the Red Sox up their lead to 6-3. Second home run of the day. David Ortiz had the first, and now this one from Saltalamacchia. This is in the air to center. Back goes Trout again. At the wall. It is gone again. Back to back goes Saltalamacchia and Carp, and the Red Sox take a 7-3 lead.
Oh, boy. Play to win. You see Trout, he's looking up. He's like, these balls are not going out. The balls are getting the jet stream. They continue going.
Balls are jumping out of here today.
Is.
Yeah, Mike Scioscia's jumping out of the dugout.
Both balls went to center field. He really thought he had a chance on it. He got in the jet stream and it just kept going.
Well, the wind has been a factor here today. Mike Scioscia heads to the mound as we get a look at Carp's 6th home run of the year. And it seems like any time he's in the Red Sox lineup, something good happens, and this is really good. 5th time the Red Sox have gone back-to-back in 2013. The Angels are going to make a change, and we're going to step aside. It's 7-3 Red Sox. Well, the Red Sox have gone deep now 73 times in 2013. With it, Hess and Hess Express donate 500 more to the Red Sox Foundation, bringing the season total to 36,500. Hess and Hess Express committed to helping the cause. Red Sox go back-to-back, Saltalamacchia and Carp here in the last half of the 6th inning. And in to pitch for the Angels is Michael Kahn. His 20th appearance of the year, 1-0 to 2.16 earned run average, 18 strikeouts, and opponents hitting at 143 against the right-handed reliever. His first pitch is in for strike 1 to Stephen Drew. You were asking a question right before the home run barrage started.
If I start asking it again and there's another home run, I'm just going to keep asking it after every single at bat. The tweeter said 78 was your best year statistically. What was the next best year that you remember?
I think what is 78? I think 77. I had a good year. I had over 30 home runs, 100 runs knocked and hit 300. I had 3 consecutive years. I had 200 hits, I think. And so with that, I think all 3 were pretty good. But the first year, my 75 year, I can't really knock that out because no one expected me and Freddie to come up and did what we did. And I'll probably say that was my start right there.
And Freddie Lynn in usually time to time here at Fenway Park during the course of the year for the Legends Suite here, which you are part of also many times during the course of the season. Have you guys stayed in touch over the years?
Oh, yes. Freddie, when he comes here, we play golf 2 or 3 times, and we normally remain teammates as far as playing golf. We play Sean Curtin, and Sean Curtin always end up getting some of his champion guys out there. We go out and we beat them, and they just tell us, come on back. That's what we do. I got to watch Freddie. Freddie say that, his handicap going. I told him he got to practice a little bit.
In the dirt, and the count is even at 2-2. Do you think that Freddie Lynn could have been a Hall of Famer if he had spent his entire career right here in Boston?
Yes. Yeah. And I think we'd have won more championships. With Freddie and Burleson, if you think about the team that we put out on the field compared to what the Yankees had, it would have been like that the whole year. You wouldn't talk about only 2 teams in the American League, Red Sox, Yankees, Yankees, Red Sox. When you think about it, you have Fisk at catching, Hobson at third, I'm in left, Freddie in center, Dwight in right. And you think about, as far as the history-wise, Burleson is short, maybe Cooper over there on first base, or even just flip-flop Wade Boggs with Hobson. So you still had a good nucleus of guys that came up in the organization. We had a pretty good powerhouse.
Well, we were talking to Carlton Fisk. He visited with us earlier this season, and he was talking about the genuine dislike for the New York Yankees. Now that has changed over the years. I mean, you see guys now, and it's just not the same. And as far as feelings about each other, this is on the ground to second base and through Kendrick. That one kind of exploded on him, but Kendrick, at the very least, probably should have knocked it down as it gets through him and into right. And Stephen Drew is aboard.
I think Mike Scioscia's tweeting again about defense. That's
this is not what you're used to seeing from an Angels team. Kind of played it off to the side. But, I mean, you guys just didn't really like each other. Did you have friends on the other side? I mean, there were guys you considered friends during that era?
Reggie, Guidry. I think it was more of Fisk, Munson, Bill Lee, Nettles.
Okay, so just a couple guys. So the fact that Carlton said everybody didn't like each other is probably a bit of an overstatement.
Yeah, I mean, Carlton got to speak for himself. I was friends with everyone. That's how I got them 37 home runs.
It seemed like 10 years ago or so, it kind of got that way again, and I miss that.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, I miss that. I miss the ownership group sniping at each other. I miss A-Rod and Schilling, and I miss Veritek going after each other. Not that I need to see a fight every day in baseball. I mean, it's not a boxing match, but I think Red Sox Yankees gets elevated to that next step when it seems like they don't like each other in addition to the fans not liking each other.
Players are friends right now, because now at one time when you are taking batting practice, the opposing team were not allowed on the field. Now you see them come around the batting cage hugging each other, and guys are working out together now.
Yes.
So it's a little different now.
This pitch inside almost gets Iglesias. He was able to elude the pitch, but to the backstop it goes, and Stephen Drew reaches second base.
Where did that pitch come from? Have we seen anything like that earlier?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking. We knew it was coming. We didn't know when but we knew it was coming.
This kid can't go down to Pawtucket, can he?
I'm not the manager. Don't be putting me in a situation.
He's good. I mean, the first time you thought maybe he was a bit of a fluke. He had all the infield hits, but now that you see him a second time, I know it's still a small sample size, but I don't want to see him. I don't want to see time without him, at least until he proves he doesn't belong here.
Yeah, but you don't want him to sit on the bench and just get rusty. You want him to play every day.
All right, sounds good.
Just get him more quality bats.
Count me in. Let him play every day.
1-2 pitch, and it's going to be fouled off to the right. Let's get a look at the pitching line. Your Eastern Mass Lexus dealers bring you the pitching line for Joe Bland, who today went 5+, 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them were earned. Walked a batter, struck out 6, and threw 95 pitches. His last 2 pitches were home runs. Saltalamacchia and Carp going back-to-back, which ended his day. As Iglesias fouls it back, 1-2.
No, when you're talking about it, we know that he's probably not going to play first base. He's not going to play second. So he got a shot at third and shortstop. But then you got a guy that you can put on the bench making over $9 million. So Middlebrooks come back, you got a home run hitter, so what are you going to do?
Well, I think the debate probably becomes him and Middlebrooks. I mean, I love the kid's at bats. Every at bat he's had up there, he's taking pitches, he's fouling them off, long at bats. I mean, the 2-base wild pitch came during a long at bat he had after he fouled off a few pitches. And I like Middlebrooks a lot long term.
But you know, when you're talking about the hot corners, you got to have someone to pick it, and of course you got to have someone to be able to go deep 15 or 20 times. When you're telling this young man to try to go deep 15, 20 times, you're really taking him out of his box. With Middlebrooks, you're not taking him out of his box. So there's a little difference right there. So you really want to give him some quality at bats. And the next thing you know, he may be the shortstop because Drew only got 1 year. But still, you want to have this guy to go down and get some quality at bat and look for next year.
1-2 pitch coming to Iglesias from Michael Kahn. And check swing on a ball in the dirt.
Can you rotate him through so that really each guy's playing 2 out of every 3 games? I mean, the fact that he can play both short and third.
Me as a player, if I was in a situation, I would love it. But me as a player, no. I want to be at that every day. I don't want to be known as a half player. I want to go out there and be able to play every day, someone you can count on, that I got your back.
Would you rather be out there 2 out of 3 days or in AAA?
If I go to AAA, I'll make a name for myself. And plus, he got the salary already. I'm going to go out there. And, you know, one thing that I think you have to tell guys, I may not have to play for the Boston Red Sox, but I want to play in the big leagues. And once I get to the big leagues, I'm going to make a name for myself. But playing 2 or 3 days, it's hard to get your time. I'm glad I never put myself in this situation, but playing like that, it's very tough.
Well, last week, John Farrell said that if Iglesias remains in the big leagues as a utility role, that he would need to play a minimum of 2 games per week. But with his performance, he also said he has a chance to carve out a role beyond that. He said we need to stay flexible. That's what internal competition is all about. It drives everyone to be better, Don.
Well, that almost was a disaster on the right side for the Angels as Kendrick ducked back and Hamilton called him off and made the catch. And Jim, as you says, right fielder's call right here.
It is. You know, the play is coming in, right fielder's coming in, and of course, you got a shot at third base, and this guy decided to go to third base.
No advance on the play as Drew remains at second base with 1 out in the inning. And Jacoby Ellsbury coming up. Ellsbury tripled his last time up to drive in a run.
This is how tough it was in '76. The season I had in '75, I came back in '76, I didn't even start.
Wow.
So how tough
That's hard to imagine.
How tough was that?
Who was starting ahead of you at the time?
Some old guy wearing number 8.
Oh, yes.
It's out of left field.
Yeah, well, that's probably part of the reason. Yeah. You know, that's a big part of the reason.
So I had to sit on the bench and just wait my time.
Ellsbury waiting on a 1-0, and that is in there for a strike. 1-1. Yankees will be at Seattle a little bit later today. Beginning the day, the Red Sox with a 1.5 lead over the Yankees. Jimmy, you were talking about the schedule, and right now it really is tough for the Red Sox coming up. Are you a leader of a group of 20 or more? If so, a Red Sox game at Fenway Park is the perfect place for your next outing. Call 617-226-6835 to talk with a group ticket representative and plan the perfect trip to Fenway Park.
Now, a couple of weeks you had a birthday, right?
No.
Well, Jerry was saying you have 20 friends. Did you bring your 20 friends to the ballpark?
No, I did not bring 20 friends. I don't have 20 friends. I may not have 2 friends, unless 20 friends. And my birthday's in December. Thanks for asking.
Well,
because you were looking to get me some of those pocket squares you have.
No, I thought you had a party. Your daughter or someone was a birthday.
My daughter had a birthday
I know it was a birthday.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's
what it was.
Bring her 20 friends.
Yes, now she has 20 friends.
Yeah.
I don't have 20 friends. This is popped up foul. Over goes Trumbo towards the seats. He'll run out of room into the first row. Trumbo went as far as he could. Robert Cuello, the former right-hander for the Red Sox, up in the bullpen.
Guy next to him was getting ready for the 4th of July a little early. The tank top out, stars and stripes. He knows it's only June, right?
Ellsbury lifts a fly ball to shallow right. Hamilton had actually started back, but now has time to recover. And there are 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Drew back at second base, and Nava will be next. So this certainly will be an exciting week for you coming up here leading up to the Stanley Cup.
This is going to be great. We got first place Red Sox. I'm a huge hockey fan. Grew up watching Bruins a lot. There was no difference in my household growing up, whether it was baseball season, hockey season, football season, basketball. It all just kind of rolled one into the next. And this Bruins thing is pretty fun to watch right now. I was trying to go to bed early last night, so I wanted to make a great impression on both of you today. And then double overtime in Chicago kept me up much later than I meant to.
Well, here is the schedule coming up, and of course you can get the complete pre and post game coverage on NESN or NESN Plus. As we look at the schedule, first game is Wednesday night. It's going to be a great series. Had the chance to spend 2 seasons with Joel Quenneville, who's the head coach of the Blackhawks in Springfield. He was the head coach of the Springfield Indians at the time. He had just retired from playing with the Hartford Whalers at the time, and he certainly had an incredible career as a head coach in the NHL.
And he's got a heck of a team too, and you saw last night, Taves to Kane to win it. You did hockey play-by-play?
Yes, yeah, 5 years in Springfield, Mass.
Well, don't tell Jack. I don't want any NESN competition.
No, I have no competition with Jack.
We got Jack on the show the day after every game, and I think we'll have him tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
That's great.
On WEI, and he is irrepressible.
Does a great job, and I'm sure these games are killing him not to be able to do it. That's one of the things in our business that when you get to this point of the year, you're just not part of it as a local broadcast, national guys. Right? Yeah, pretty much. I have a chance to do the first round on a yearly basis with TBS, which is always great, but past that, you certainly want to stay with your team. And I know Jack, as loyal as he is, it's got to be tough.
Would you have had a call ready for 04?
Probably. I mean, that's sort of something you don't want to mess up. You try not to can stuff and have stuff, premeditated. But that's pretty big. That's when you don't want to botch.
Where were you for that? Where were both of you?
I was there. We had the pre and post. So I was on the field in St. Louis and in Colorado in 07.
You can do it all.
Well, I was just kicking it back to you guys. You guys were in the studio.
T-Side, we work very hard over there in the studio. So
I know.
I know.
What was that moment like for you, Jim? I mean, 86 years for the fans. It was such a big deal. Obviously, I grew up here. For me, it was emotional. But for somebody who had been so close and been with the team, you said, since 71, what was that moment like for you?
It was a great moment, but it was mainly for the team that was out on the field and for the fans. I had an opportunity to be at a World Series. We didn't win, and so I didn't have anything that could contribute to the ball club. So it was more of a good feeling for the fans in the way that they supported the Red Sox in 04 and 07. Just like someone said, well, what's the feeling you have when they call you about the Hall of Fame? I didn't have any feelings. I was watching my soap opera, continue watching my soap opera. It wasn't the feeling. The feeling came when you had to have that, when you made that speech, and when you went into the room, you had your dinner, and they presented you with the ring, and you went in there and said, man, I'm in here with these guys? These guys are legends. These guys could play. And you look at some of the numbers, I'm like, I'm here now? And, I was talking to some of the guys, and I said, man, I feel like I'm very uncomfortable. They said, you belong here. They said, why? Because of your numbers and what you did. And then I sort of felt more at ease. But every time that I go there, I still feel like I'm a rookie, and I keep my mouth shut and just listen to some of those stories. And the key thing here, by listening to stories, when they talk about guys they played with or against, and they were outstanding players, you go, yeah, he was bad. And that's what I enjoy about going back to the Hall of Fame, is hear stories.
Nava strikes out to end the inning, and that will end our chat with Mike Salt.
Thanks for having me in, guys.
Great to have you, Mike. 7-3 Sox. TC and Tim Wakefield to break down all the action, and Jenny will take us into the clubhouse for reaction from the players. WB Mason, extra innings live. Can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. It's on to the 7th inning back at Fenway Park. Red Sox have a 7-3 lead. As this call to the bullpen is brought to you on Nesson by New England Ford dealers. Greg Breslow comes in after 6 innings from Dempster. And Breslow, the left-hander, will work here in the 7th inning. His 16th appearance of the year, 2-1 with a 2.30 earned run average. 8 strikeouts to 5 walks, and opponents sitting at 185 against Breslow. Well, a man who needs no introduction is to my left, Tom Caron. Welcome.
Let's get back to please watch the postgame show. Read that again, please.
I just read it.
It's my favorite part of the broadcast.
And today, it's going to be right here, right outside?
That's right. We're outside today. Down on Yawkey Way with Tim Wakefield. Jim, you're welcome to come back down and join us, as always.
No, thank you, partner.
I appreciate it.
Little bunt bid is caught in the air at third base by Iglesias. And Breslow's got one out here in the 7th on 1 pitch. Bunt bid this time by J.B. Shuck. Iglesias played a very good third base since coming up.
How surprising is that? I mean, we thought there'd be a little more of a learning curve here, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Sure. As good as he is, as good as his fielding prowess is at shortstop, it's got to be a transition to third base, but we've not seen it really with him. It's been seamless.
Yeah, I talked to Gary DiSarcina, who used to be one of our analysts, managing now in Pawtucket, and right before he got the call, he said that week he put in, he only played 1 game in Pawtucket, but the week he put in working at third base, he said it was incredible how open he was, how, Gary was a great shortstop himself in 10 years with the Angels, and he said just learning the roots, making sure you pick up the angles here. He was like a kid, just sponging it all in, which is not what you've always heard about Iglesias. The question is, how open would he be to being moved around? But he obviously wants to be here, and if that's what it takes, he's going to do what it takes.
Now, DiSar was one of the many who have called your studio home over the years. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He really enjoys it down there. They're playing well. Yeah, we've had guys go on to greatness. Cam Neely worked with me, went on to be the president of the Bruins. Don Sweeney's the assistant general manager. And
You're
Tommy
a launching pad for guys.
I keep telling Jim he might be somebody someday if he keeps working with me.
You might turn into something, Jim. Keep working with TC.
I think of Ken Maka, went on who was with you at Pawtucket, went on to manage again. Bob Tewksbury is there. I can keep going. I mean, they all hate working with me so much that they go on to great careers and other things.
High fly ball to deep left field. Karp going back as Karp at the wall. Fields for it. Can't get it. It's up over his head. The ricochet to Ellsbury. And it is a one-out wall ball double for Mike Trout, who has his second double of the game, and he is a doubles machine.
I think Karp felt like he jumped too soon.
Tried to time it out there as he was feeling for the wall with the hand.
Almost.
Yeah.
Jim, is that the toughest thing about playing that wall, when to go back like you would in a normal ballpark and when to start moving in because it's going to bang off that wall?
You got to find the wall, and once you realize that you can't catch the ball, then you got to bounce off the wall and hope that you can hold the guy to a single.
I heard you guys talking about the choreography with Fred Lynn. I think you two had it down to a science. Freddie knew when to get right behind you and back things up.
We did. You know, like I said, anything Taylor done, anything hit to my left, Freddie guys go back to the wall, and I got to surround Freddie. And if the ball hits to my right, I got the ball all by myself. So you really got to have chemistry with the center fielder.
And that's something you certainly did for a long time with Freddie. You had to be very comfortable.
Yes, and I felt very comfortable with Freddie.
What about the ball where the Be Strong is, where it comes off there and ricochets? I mean, trying to figure out who's going to cover that when it bounces back towards left center. That pretty much
Freddie still got to go back. I got to bust my butt all the way over to center field and hope that I can help the guy at least to a double. Because you still want to, the guy's going to be in scoring position, but you really try to get him to a double instead of that triple.
I missed the little patch of worn out dirt that Manny left because he never moved. You know, there's that one area of worn out grass, and Manny knew right where to stand.
And, of course, you always can look what the fielders are playing right now. You see a lot of brown spots out there. Everyone that comes to the ballpark, that's where it really stands at as far as looking the difference between left-handed and right-handed fielders.
Tell you, I was thinking it's a lot warmer today than the last time I was sitting at this exact spot. That was for frozen Fenway. But,
did you have the windows open?
We had the windows open because there was a camera on this side, so it made us leave them open. And we'll be doing it again this winter, which would be great.
How hard was it to call from here?
You know, it's a ways back. As you know, Don, doing a lot of hockey. The hockey, you like to kind of be on top of the action on the ice. When they did the Winter Classic with the Bruins playing, they had it out in center field, little platform.
This is dangerous, but caught. As Saltalamacchia and Napoli come together. Everybody's all right. Let's talk about some history and Ryan Dempster when we come back.
8th. For tickets, visit foxwoods.com. Foxwoods Resort Casino is the official partner of the Boston Red Sox.
Back at Fenway Park as it's 7th inning stretch here at Fenway, and Ryan Dempster today got the start for the Red Sox as Dempster went the first 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. As this whiff was brought to you by Head & Shoulders. The 2,000th strikeout for Ryan Dempster in his career as he gets Alberto Callaspo. And wants to keep that baseball as a souvenir as he sends it over to the dugout. One of 5 active pitchers with 2,000 strikeouts, as he is congratulated by his teammates as he came off, ended up striking out 2 in that inning and 6 in the game.
Just the second-born Canadian-born pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, the other. And I'll tell you a little something about Ryan Dempster that we'll be watching over the next couple of weeks. An ardent Chicago Blackhawks fan.
Ooh.
Spent that time as a Canadian, spent all that time in Chicago and got to know a lot of the Blackhawks. Big Chicago Blackhawks fan. And he said, I know this could be trouble for me in this town if they wind up playing each other in the Stanley Cup Finals. So he'll have to answer some questions about that over the next couple of weeks.
Well, Robert Coelho comes into the game here for the Angels. He is the third arm used by Mike Socha today, his 13th appearance, 2-2. With 2.57 earned run average, 21 strikeouts, only 4 walks, and opponents sitting at 196 against him. He takes over for Michael Kahn, who worked the 6th inning and did not give up a run. Red Sox have a 7-3 lead as we head here into the bottom of the 7th inning. This game summary is brought to you by Xfinity from Comcast, as Blanton is on the hook today. Joe Blanton, the starter, ended up going 5+, giving up 7 runs, 6 earned. Big Papi was going deep against him, a 3-run home run. Albert Pujols has a home run on the other side for the Angels. Red Sox went back-to-back, Saltalamacchia and Carp in the 6th inning. And it's all part of a 7-3 Red Sox lead as we play into the bottom of the 7th inning. Anything different that you have to do to prepare for a post game that is on Yawkey Way that you would not prepare for back at the Nissan Studios?
The biggest difference is back there, and Jim will tell you, we are more involved in looking at the packages. Sean Allen does a great job, and Justin Porvelis, our producers back at Nesson. We try not to just show the highlights, try to break down what a pitcher has going, or maybe a pitch-by-pitch sequence of an at-bat, kind of the game within the game. We don't get to see those packages quite as closely when we're here on Yawkey, so a little more seat of the pants as you see what's being thrown your way. We take more sound down in the press room, in the clubhouse, listening to more interviews. So it's great, though, and Jim will tell you, doing the pregame here, the postgame here, you feed off the energy of the crowd, right, Jim?
No, you do. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, the crowd really what's getting involved, and so it makes you get a little pumped up, and that's what it's all about. And of course, when you work with a talented guy like TC, you can't help but getting pumped up.
You know, we used to have you come down from time to time, Don, and the crowd would just go wild. But security, I guess, became such an issue. The Red Sox really had a problem escorting you down to the stage and getting you back up here.
So as a result, I was canceled. This is in the air to left field. J.B. Shuck is back there on the dirt of the track, and now he'll actually come back to make that catch for the first out here of the 7th inning.
Jim, you remember like Sinatra, they used to have to bring him through the back of a hotel, you know, and that was Don coming down to Yawkey Way. Heavy security presence, working him through the crowd.
Well, now you guys usually watch the game in the green room. Now, I've only had a chance to do that.
You hear that usually? Well, like we don't watch the game at all.
There's other places that, I know you're,
Okay.
I know you're watching the game in the green room, but the one thing I learned, and I've only worked with TC in a studio format a few times, is that green room is TC's green room. I mean, do you feel that way? The reason I say that, and this has come up many times, is that I was told before I arrived there that by one of the other producers that Mr. Karen does not like if you order fish. And I was told before TC arrived.
I won't hide from that. That's true.
So there was no fish allowed.
No fish in the green room.
Were you allowed to eat fish in the green room at any time?
I'm not a fish guy, but I do have I have my shrimp though.
Yeah, shrimp's okay. He's a Hall of Famer. Shrimp's okay. And just to clear up the air, this has been a long run of things. The guys at WEI give me a hard time about this too. I have nothing against fish.
You're from Maine.
It's the smell of fish that lingers in the green room over 3 hours of baseball.
Guy from Maine who does not like the smell of fish.
Fish on your own time. Don't eat it on my time. Okay, shrimp, not so much of an odor, so we're okay with shrimp. But Jerry will be the first to tell you. I think Jerry ordered shrimp, fish during the first playoff game he did with us. That was it.
That's a no-no.
I just
surprised he got back the next day.
Jerry, you have restaurants. You can eat fish at your restaurants. Just leave the green room alone.
Well, Dustin Pedroia has been retired here as David Ortiz bats with a count of 3-1.
But sometimes when he takes his vacation,
yes,
everyone orders fish.
Everybody, the whole place is filled with fish.
I didn't realize that.
No, I call legal. Say legal, bring it down here. Everybody.
Well, David Ortiz draws a 1-out walk here, and that'll bring us to Mike Napoli.
I'll tell you one of the keys in the green room, and Benny from Dunkin' Donuts brings you guys coffee and bagels and whatnot. Being a Hall of Famer has its privileges, because when we have, like, if we had the doubleheader yesterday, you're back in, Jim would be on the phone first thing. Benny, within a half hour, has got guys squealing up to Nesson, bringing donuts and coffee into the green room.
You have people?
Yeah, I have people. You know, and I don't know if we can give any shout outs, but also we have our little dessert. We go to Lily's and have our dessert. So, you know, when you're with TC, you go one way.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's how he rolls.
I tell you. And that's what it's all about.
I enjoy each homestand. Jim will bring in a new and more impressive phone than he had last time around. He's just constantly upgrading to better technology.
Thanks for
Again, the life of a Hall of Famer.
Kerry O'Donnell, thank you.
You want me to tee you up with all the thank yous you want?
How about the pocket squares? Who takes care of the pocket squares? Is that all you?
That's Ghibli's there.
Okay. No, I have to compliment you on your pocket squares. Nobody does pocket squares like you do in this town.
But like I said, I'm trying to work out a deal now. But we're going to get something. You know, TC and I, you know, we'll take care of you, Don. You know.
Jim knows people.
Well, Coors Light brings you today's cold hard facts, and it's Clay Buchholz, who's now 9-0 after 12 starts this season, joining only 2 other Red Sox pitchers to have accomplished this feat. Josh Beckett and Roger Clemens are the other 2, and TC really has been amazing what Clay Buchholz has been able to do, and now you hope that this situation that he has that he's now listed with day to day is not something that's going to hamper what has been an incredible season.
Yeah, I loved his quote after that play last night. The most athletic play I've ever made. The guy just kept tumbling, and he got the guy out. So it was an impressive play. But the way he wound up at the end, just kind of one last flip over, it was on his neck. And he tried to hang in there a couple more innings. It's not surprising that it's sore. You just hope he can make that next start. It's been an amazing start to watch what he has done. What is it, just the 4th Red Sox pitcher in 40 years to start 9-0?
Well, he has been incredible, and hope that this is not something to keep him out of his next start as pitches in there for a strike. This was the play you were talking about yesterday, one of a couple that ended up involved in, and as you mentioned, it wasn't out in the end. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. And this one right back at him, the glove actually coming off.
But it kind of indicated he started to feel it on that first play, and then you wanted that line drive, you jerk back away from that. That's right. What, you know, kind of put it over the edge, the straw that broke the camel's back.
He told me on those plays he felt athletic. You know, he said pitcher's not athletic, but he said he felt athletic there.
Yeah. Now 1 out, 1 on. Mike Napoli has had a tough day at the plate. He has struck out 3 times, twice swinging and once looking. And this time he's going to take the walk, back-to-back walks given up by Correa. We'll swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. It's available for both the iPhone and iPad. Download it for free today.
What I think is exciting right now, Don, and I'm sure you hear this as well, it seems like the last couple of weeks, everyone's starting to notice this team. You know, and I know the Bruins have been stealing the headlines, and rightfully so. They're on their way back to the Stanley Cup, and it's going to be a great couple of weeks here as they play the Blackhawks in the final. But in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten more random texts, more calls, people asking for tickets, people commenting on games than I think we saw earlier. I think, you know, we're past the 3rd way through the season, first place, best record in the American League. That 17-run night got a lot of people excited, winning 2 out of 3 against Texas, a nice win last night. This is a stretch, as you know. They're playing 22 out of 25 against teams with winning records, and they're off to a good start. That's the kind of run that gets people excited.
I think in fairness to Red Sox Nation, based on what had happened in September and all of last year, this is in the air to center field. Trout going back, and this is out of here. Saltalamacchia with his 2nd home run of the day. It's a 3-run blast, and the Red Sox will make it an even 10 runs. 4th home run of the day for Boston, and the 2nd time Salty's gone deep. Saltalamacchia had struck out and grounded out in his first 2 at-bats, enjoying the second half of this game. The center field has been a popular place in this game for Red Sox batters.
No doubt. I mean, I'm watching Tim McCullum on third base. When Salty was coming around the base, I never seen an umpire clap. Umpire was clapping.
Yeah. Crew chief. Second 2-home run game for the Red Sox for Saltalamacchia.
Play to win, Don. Play to win.
Play to win.
That's right. Check the flags out.
And Salty's second of the day at 10-3. Red Sox lead. No, TC, as you're saying, you went through such a long stretch of things that went wrong for this team that it was going to take a little while, I think, for people to buy into what has gone on here. And it took more than just spring training and hearing how well the team was getting along and how many good guys there were. There are going to need to be some wins, and there have been.
And more than a couple of weeks. You know, a nice start is one thing. We've got a long enough sample size now. I don't think anybody, I think everyone agrees that this team is going to be around. We'll see how it plays out, but they're not going to fall apart now. I mean, this team's in it. We'll get near the... I'll talk over your play-by-play. I did that for 2 years as the sideline reporter when I used to go in the crowd and talk to people. It seemed like every time you had a great home run call to make, I was interviewing somebody's grandmother or something, and you couldn't do it. So I feel like I owe you a few, Don. I apologize for that.
Well, Karp is out number 2 of the inning as Trout gets back there to make the catch.
I remember in Chicago once late in the season, I wound up doing the call.
Yeah.
And he grounds out the short. Don's back in my ear saying, I could just leave if you want to keep doing this all by yourself.
How many years were you the sideline?
2 years. I was the first. We never had a sideline.
It seemed like 5 for me.
Thank you, Don.
Because some of the biggest home runs that took place, I never got to call. TC was always on talking to somebody else, and it never failed. But
the Chicago one, it was the day after. Remember the game in Labor Day when we flew in and the team won that walk-off, or it wasn't walk-off, but that ninth inning comeback in Philadelphia on Labor Day.
Yes.
Then the next day we went to Chicago. They won 2-1 against Bartolo Colon. Yeah. 2 solo homers. I was talking through both homers. This is a key late-season game in the playoff picture. And you didn't get to call either one.
No, I got nothing.
ESPN was all ready to show you at the top of the show. And
nothing. Cancel.
No, I'm interviewing 3 generations of Red Sox fans in Chicago.
Don't think I forgot about that. It seems like yesterday. How long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The scars linger.
Oh. Well, 2 down here in the inning. 3 runs in here for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 7th, and an 0-2 pitch to Drew. This is into right field for a base hit. He picks up his first hit of the day. And the hits continue for the Red Sox, who now have 10 in the game.
But it's funny, you think back, Nessa never had a sideline reporter. There weren't many in baseball, as you remember.
Yeah.
And then I was at the point where 3 or few networks started about the same time. And now I think just about every broadcast, every regional sports network has a sideline reporter.
We went Tom Caron to Eric Freed to Hazel May. This is to left. Off the wall. Shuck will play it as Iglesias is headed to second base, and Iglesias has got a double. His second hit of the day. He's hitting for power too now, as that one is ringing off the wall and left. I'm back to my list. Tina Cervasio, Heidi Watney, Jenny Dell.
Yes.
I didn't miss anybody.
No.
But have you noticed? Only the good survive, and that's TC.
Wow. Here he is standing. Hey, speaking of Jenny Dell, here she is.
Hold on. One lucky fan here is having a great day at Fenway Park. The same fan actually caught the home run ball from Mike Karp in the 6th inning and the 3-run shot from Saltalamacchia this inning. It's a great day for baseball here at Fenway, and I think that fan's having a good day here at Fenway, catching both those balls.
I would say so. This one is grounded foul. And this is Karp's. That's home run ball number 1. Feeling lucky, and then Saltalamacchia is right back at him again. He's handling everything out there in Stereo 8 center field. Second and third, 2 down. Framed by Iannetta, but called the ball.
I know there's 2 outs. I just wanted to thank you before the end of the inning for bringing me on. I had seen that you had just about every other media member in town, so I'm glad you finally got down the list far enough to invite me up for an inning.
No, you always invite the best.
That's right, for last. That's it.
By the way, Don, I follow you on Twitter. It's a lot of fun. I know that you like to get a plug in when you can from time to time. At Don Orsillo.
I was just going to say, are you talking about at Don Orsillo?
I'm talking about at Don Orsillo.
Jim, at Don Orsillo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't be afraid to throw at Tom Karen out there once in a while. But, you know, I follow you.
Why would I do that?
You know, I'm not sure that you follow me either. I'm going to go back and find out today. I think you might not follow me, Don.
I checked you. You're not following me either, so save it.
You know what I have done from time to time? I have followed you and unfollowed you about 10 times.
I've done the same thing.
Because I think you get excited when you see new people follow you.
Yeah.
So if I keep re-following you, I know I'm making your day.
I wonder why I keep going backwards by one every now and again. Now I know.
If you have a good call to a game, I follow you.
And then I'm out.
Every once in a while you have a bad call, I'll take it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I got your back. He only follows you when you're talking about soap from the hotel.
Oh, okay. All right. That's something to think about. Scott Downs, the lefty, is up for the Angels.
What kind you like?
I prefer the Tampa Bay soap. Is great.
TC and I, we like the body and bath.
Oh, yeah. The stuff in Tampa Bay is terrific. I don't want to say the hotel, but you know the hotel.
I know the hotel. Yeah. Great soap.
Yeah. So 2 down here in the inning as Hall of Famer Jim Rice, Hall of Famer Tom Karen is here.
No. As somebody once said, we were doing the pregame show on the field. It was Peter Gammons, Jim Rice, Dennis Eckersley, and me. They said, Cooperstown, Watertown. So I know my place.
Ball 4 and down to first goes Ellsbury. Bases are loaded here.
Yes, but we don't have a green room.
For here. This is your green room.
No, you got the green room.
You're anytime you want. You can come by the green room anytime you want.
And there comes Mike Socha again. As he has had Scott Downs, the left-hander, up in the pen. It's been a tough outing for Coelho, who's given up a home run in the inning to Saltalamacchia, single, a double, and a walk, and his day is over. The pitching change from Fenway with 2 outs here in the 7th. Form is dirty from a diving catch. You can depend on WB Mason to handle any mess for amazingly low prices on an all-star selection of cleaning supplies. Go to WBMason.com and place your order to receive same-day delivery. The fans out on the bleachers having a great day today. It's been a beautiful weather day here in Boston, and even better score for the Red Sox, who have a 10-3 lead over the Angels with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. The new Angels pitcher is lefty Scott Downs into his 26th game, 0-2 with a 2.04 earned run average. He's pressed into service here in the bottom of the 7th inning with a 10-3 Red Sox lead.
So apparently there's a little mutual deterrence going on. You and I just talked it out.
Yes.
You were waiting for me to follow you on Twitter, and
Exactly.
I've been waiting. I just broke the ice, being the bigger man, Don.
You're in.
I have just followed you.
Awesome news.
You have 24 hours to follow me, or you're losing a follow.
All right, well, wait for me to fly to Tampa, and then I will get there and do that.
Oh, here we go, playing the travel card again.
Yeah, well, I got to get there before we go right after the game and all. So base is loaded here with 2 outs in the inning. That is funny, though, because I didn't know how to follow people for like the first month. I mean, I'm new to this whole thing, as you know.
And I was down there when you began. You were doing
Right.
your 40-yard sprints and whatever it was down at Fort Myers to get people to follow you.
Right.
And it was a huge success.
But I had no idea how to
I followed
follow
you,
other people.
and after a month or so,
yeah,
you weren't
said,
following me.
See you
I said,
later.
"The heck with this.
You're out.
That's it. You get one shot. Now you're getting a second shot.
All right, so give me a 24-hour window.
Done.
And I am on board.
I even tweeted out, I'm following at Don Orsillo. How about you? So I'm bringing people with me.
He's a hard man.
Yes, he is. Wow. At least he doesn't hold a grudge or anything, huh?
You want to bet?
Yeah. It's a 1-1 to Nava. And his outside ball 2. And I want to remind everybody that Nesson's postgame show with Tom Caron and Tim Wakefield is going to be right here on Yawkey Way. WB Mason and Extra Innings Live. Jenny will bring you the player reaction, game insight. WB Mason's Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. Jim Rice will not be part of the post-game show.
No, but you're invited. Again, both of you, come on by. Don, I know you got to get down there for the bus, but you can swing by for a segment if you want.
I got to fly. I got to go.
You know you got to fly.
Very busy. 2-1 pitch is a strike over the outside corner. Nava doesn't like it.
How are those dinner plans in Tampa Bay working out right about now?
Not too good.
Yeah.
Well, this fastball ends up away. Amica Insurance is the proud sponsor of the Amica pitch zone. As it was called a strike, Nava didn't think so, and either did the Amica pitch zone.
I will tell you this, and Jim will attest, the Amica pitch zone leads to more discussion in our green room than anything else that airs on NESN.
Yes.
Just the constant, it's up there now, and so you're just always debating, is it a strike, is it not? I think it's great.
Nava to left, but Shuck is there as he comes in to make the catch that ends the inning. Well, the Red Sox tack on 3 runs thanks to the second home run of the day for Jared Saltalamacchia. 10-3 Red Sox. In theme parks across the Northeast, visit FWWeb.com for more info about this proud sponsor of the Boston Red Sox. That's FWWeb. Now it's on to the 8th inning back at Fenway Park. A 10-3 Red Sox lead over the Angels, and a new pitcher for Boston. First, some defensive changes. Pedro Siriaco takes over at third. Iglesias, who had been at third, moves to second base, and that'll be the day for Dustin Pedroia. The new Red Sox pitcher is Koji Uehara, who is the 3rd Sox pitcher of the day. His 26th appearance, 0-0 with a 1.90 earned run average in 23 2/3. 34 strikeouts, only 4 walks, and opponents hitting under 200 against Uehara at 195. Mark Trumbo will lead it off here for the Angels in the 8th. And the end of our conversation with Tom Caron is he's got to go get ready for Yawkey Way.
I do. Tim Wakefield just put his head down towards us and mentioned that we should get down there and keep the show going. I think he was afraid that I was going to leave him down there alone. He also said, and Jim will tell you, the one thing you're not allowed to ever say in the green room, he said this game's flying.
Oh, no, he didn't.
But I don't think there's anything to jinx today because this game is not flying. So I think Wake is okay. Guys, it was fun. Don, have a great road trip. It's always fun to watch.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
It's going to be fun. You know what's great, by the way? I pointed this out. The Stanley Cup final schedule came out. Only 2 games conflict with Red Sox games. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get to see most of that, which is going to be great for all of us.
That's outstanding. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to this week. And
Jim, come back to me at some point. I know you're up there big time with Don Orsillo, but if you ever get the chance to come back to the little people, we appreciate that.
TC introduced me to hockey, and I said, TC, I heard you a couple of times, and, hockey is just fast. And I said, how you get the hang up? Just say ski. Ski. Just say ski.
I told you, the only thing, and Jerry Remy was the best. You just say they're skating today or they're not skating today. And you sound like you know exactly why they're not skating today. Oh, this guy knows hockey.
But there's one thing about the hockey players, great names. Great names. Seem like they are all rock stars.
Yeah, lots of consonants. Guys, thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, TC. Kevin Jepson is up in the pen for the Angels as this 8th inning begins, and Koji Uehara deals with a 1-2. It's on the ground to shortstop. Drew to his left has got it for the first out of the inning. Mark Trumbo retired for the first time today. Let's send it down to Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, our fans at home helped us out with our AT&T Twitter question today, and the question was, would you rather have the best offense or the best pitching in the majors? And here are some of the best answers brought to you by AT&T. Rachel said, pitching. The Sox have struggled with pitching the last few years. You don't need big bats, just consistency. Connor said, offense. If you don't have a good offense, you can't score many runs. If you can't score many runs, you can't win. Good point there. And last but not least, when the Sox had Pedro and Schilling, it didn't matter what offense they faced. It was lights out, Don.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. As that pitch uncorked from Uehara was a breaking ball, I believe. We'll get another look at it there as it gets Kendrick. Yes, it was a curveball that slipped out of the hand. There have been back and forth, but that was not one of them.
Yes, and you notice that he did not move at all. See, a lot of guys are taught to turn into the ball where they try to cheat. We were taught to turn the other way to get out of the way. But then again, as they say, a walk just as good as a hit. I guess being a hit's batsman is just as good as a hit. Wrong. Let me hit.
Well, here's Alberto Callaspo, who will take a ball from Uehara.
At the end of the year, I don't think anyone said, well, how many walks did you get? No, they said, how many hits did you get? How many home runs you get? Never about walks.
So you're not buying this whole on base percentage thing for the most part then?
Well, I guess you can buy it now, but when we played, if you didn't knock anyone in and get into home runs, you didn't get a good paycheck. I guess now by walks as good as a hit, they getting better paychecks, but back then, no.
That has been one of the changes certainly in the game, I would think, more recently among the changes in philosophies for a lot of general managers, it seems, across Major League Baseball.
So the money that you gave Hamill and Pujols, you want them to walk? What do you want them to do?
Home runs.
Oh, thank you. You want them to get out there and walk? I don't think so.
Alberto Callaspo has homered today. Kind of a half-hearted swing there. So he got full 2-2. Mark Trumbo grounded to short. Kendrick hit by a pitch. And a 2-2 pitch coming to Callaspo. He is rolled over foul, and we'll do it again, 2-2. On deck for the Angels is Eric Ibar in the top half of the 8th. Angels will be going to Baltimore after the game tonight as they continue this East Coast trip, while the Red Sox are headed to St. Petersburg to begin their series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And of course, Tampa 3 games back of the Red Sox in the American League East. Ground ball to first base. Napoli will go to second for 1. Covering is the pitcher Uehara, and it's not in time. Able to beat it out. There's Callaspo at first base. They do get the lead runner in Kendrick for the second out of the inning. But they're going to be able to turn 2 here as Napoli starts it well. As Drew cleared the runner, and it was a safe call there at first base. Callaspo beats it out. Very close, though.
Yeah, but umpire's in a bad position. He ready to go. He got to catch a flag, too. That man was out.
You think he was out?
Yeah, he was out.
Well, you're saying that Wally Bell was out of position in that spot.
Look at him. Yes, he was out of position.
Well, he calls him safe. Jim's not buying it. 2 down here in the inning, and runner at first base as Ibar is the batter. Now, do you have Dennis Eckersley, who's filled in quite a bit, has made it quite obvious that he liked no umpires during the time that he played Major League Baseball. None. Zip. Nada. Not one of them. I mean, how was your relationship with umpires?
I thought it was pretty good. I think that you as a hitter, you as a pitcher, you got to know who's a pitcher's umpire, who's a hitter's umpire. And that's one thing about I knew for sure when Darryl Merrill was an umpire and Roger Clemens was there, we were going to have a 2-hour game, and he'll tell you in a minute, my man from Texas pitching, better swing. And so you knew a lot of umpires, and at one time the umpires coming out through our dugout. And so you get to see the umpires, you get to know the umpires, and so you found out who were pitchers umpires and who were hitters umpires.
So some of these people you liked.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have anything against any umpires. My thing is that if you umpire, do not take the third strike from me. You can have the first and the second. I want the third one. If I get the third one, I want to swing.
Well, it is interesting, though. It must be a pitcher's thing, as far as not liking any umpires. I guess they have more involvement maybe with it.
Now,
is it an Eck thing, you think, or is it a...
It's probably an Eck thing more than anything else. I can't get on all the pitches because I got to go in the clubhouse with some of the pitches down there, my friend. So I think it's maybe an Eck thing than anything else.
I had a feeling, but I wanted to hear it from somebody else.
Like I gotta have that.
He's gotta have everything. Everything he's gotta have.
That's right. He was that way when he was with Cleveland. Oh, Eck is that.
Well, that is ball 4, and Ibar is down to first base as Callaspo will take second base. Well, coming up tomorrow on Dennis and Callahan's show, DNC will preview the Bruins and Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Final. Plus break down today's rubber game of the Angels and Red Sox. It all begins at 6 a.m. here on Nesson and 93.7 WEEI FM. 2 on and 2 down in the 8th as the Angels trail by 7 runs here. Trying to put something together against Koji Uehara as it'll bring up Chris Iannetta, the catcher for the Angels. Interesting to note that the batter that Uehara just hit in Kendrick, the second batter of the inning, that is the first batter that he has hit in his major league career. He hasn't hit anybody before today. 157 and 2/3 innings coming in today, hit nobody.
Well, I guess not pitching inside and didn't really lose the curveball. He lost the curveball. I mean, you saw the ball was spinning, just didn't have that little break on it.
This is strike 2, 0-2 is his reaction for Uehara after hitting his first batter ever. Kendrick was erased on the force out at second base. Now 2 on with 2 outs. And Neto will take ball 1.
Besides hitting someone and walking, he didn't really want to give one a free base. Wanted to at least have an opportunity trying to get that guy, let him put the ball in play. Got a chance to get him out. No free passes.
Especially with a 7-run lead, he then goes on to walk Ibar. Uehara, who has been so good all year. 1-2 is driven down the left field line foul. Scoop, scoop, scoop for the home team with delicious Hood Red Sox ice cream. Catch your favorites in the freezer aisle today. Always good, always Hood.
I thought it was Scooteroo. That's what it used to be.
He's playing somewhere else.
Look at But see, if Jerry was here today, you guys would have ice cream. See, I'm here, so you guys, I don't know,
We got nothing right now.
I mean, I would have sent some hot dogs down to the kids. They had a sign and say, "Hey, Arcilla, we love you," and things like that. I would have went on and spent a couple dollars. I'm not cheap.
No, that you are not. 2 down here in the inning. Runners at first and second. Framed by Saltalamacchia, but called a ball, and it's 2-2.
See, the fans know Jerry not here. I don't even see a Don and Jerry sign and nothing.
There's nothing here. I looked all day. Nothing. I'm looking now. I see nothing. One foul back. Still 2-2.
I think I'm going to call the clubhouse and tell one of the kids to get us a sign.
Yeah, you can plant one. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. We did have one earlier. Well, hello to Grammy. 2-2. And he's going to miss. As Uehara wanted that. Full count. Fans booing, but it did appear to be outside. Marty Foster has the play today. This was pitch number 8. And it was away. Runners will be off here. 3-2. And that's inside, ball 4. And Uehara, un-Uehara-like, walking back-to-back batters here. Second time in his relief career that he's ever walked 2 batters in a game, and this is followed up after hitting his first batter of his career. So all this is totally out of character for Koji Uehara. Well, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or one where the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital. CVS is aiming for a goal of $25,000 in donations this season. So 2 down in the inning. Bases filled here with Angels, and J.B. Shuck is the batter. Double back in the 3rd inning, a 1-for-3 day. Red Sox do have action in the pen now as left-hander Andrew Miller is warming. .28 pitches, only 15 strikes for Uehara. Uehara stumbling off the mound after that delivery that was called a strike. He goes to work on the landing area. It's a tough crowd down there, John.
I'm telling you, it is. I love it.
The number goes foul. 1-2. Season high 30 pitches for Koji Uehara. Callaspo at 3rd base, Ibar at 2nd base, Iannetta at 1st base. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Next pitch will be the 2nd highest total he's ever thrown in relief. And it is back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Callaspo will score. Here comes Ibar. 2 runs in for the Angels, and it's now 10-5. Uehara throwing out the pitching hand, trying to knock that down, but it's well by him. Iannetta ends up at 2nd base, 2 on with 2 outs and 2 runs in, and that's going to be the day for Uehara. We're not used to seeing this at all from Koji Uehara. As he'll hand the baseball off to John Farrell, that's the day for him, and Andrew Miller will make his way in. We will step aside from Fenway Park with a pitching change, with the Red Sox on top 10-5. Bob will donate $1,000 to the Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon for every game saved this season. For quality, choice, and value, nobody beats Bob. Visit mybobs.com to learn more. Now, with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning, a 10-5 Red Sox lead, and on to pitch for the Red Sox is Andrew Miller. In his 28th appearance of the year, 0-1 with a 3.10 earned run average. 20 and a 30 has 35 strikeouts. And his first pitch in there for a strike one to Mike Trout. And that was as strange an outing as we have seen from Koji Uehara. Toughest outing we've seen him have.
It's location. I mean, sometimes you go out there and you're in that situation that you just can't find yourself, and that's what happened today. Just couldn't find himself. And also the umpire could have gave him a little bit, time to go home.
Some borderline calls there that could have gone his way. He hit a batter. He did walk a couple, but gives up 2 runs so far. He's responsible for the 2 men on as Trout fouls this one off himself. Saltalamacchi out to talk to Miller to give Trout some extra time. Well, Hall of Famer Jim Rice has been alongside all day today. It has been a lot of fun to have Jim here. We had Jim during spring training talking about the wall at JetBlue Park, but this is the real thing here, the real deal here at Fenway Park, and it has been great to have you here today. And I know that you'll be back with TC again very soon. You got a lot of games coming up, right? You're a busy man.
I have a couple coming up. But JetBlue compared to this ballpark is entirely different. I mean, this is the one that you really got to go out and got to learn how to play. JetBlue is more like an appetizer than anything else.
An appetizer.
Yeah.
That's well put. Well, for some of the guys, I mean, the first time they've had the chance to play the wall, I guess it's a good idea to even have the wall in spring training, which is pretty good, at least to practice.
It is. I think when you're able to have almost a duplicate of your ballpark and you have your fielders out there, why not, if you can duplicate it, to go out and to do something like that? And they did it.
A great ballpark for spring training, and of course here the monster seat's a little bit different. The wall quite a bit different, with the seats at JetBlue Park actually in the wall in spring training. And
believe me, it's better than Winter Haven.
Yeah. 2-2 to Trout is to right field, and this is going to get in for a base hit. They will stop the runners. The throw's going to go to second. They've got him hung up. Will they get him? Yes. The Angels run themselves out of the inning. Shuck thought Iannetta was going to score. He stopped at third, and Shuck is out to end the inning. And the rally for the Angels. West Airlines, New England Subaru dealers, Sullivan Tire and Auto Centers, and by the New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlets, where you'll find the best prices, selection, and convenience. We want the cup, and it is almost Stanley Cup final time. Again, Wednesday night will be game 1. Eck is not here. Jim Rice is, but our best wishes to Jerry Remy on a quick return, as Kevin Jepson is the new pitcher. Jepson's 12th appearance, 0-1 with a 4.32 earned run average, 219 opponent batting average, and 13 Ks to 2 walks for Jepson. He takes over for Scott Downs. Pedro Siriaco batting for the first time today as he took over at third base. Very tough on Pedro Siriaco as far as playing time comes to get in there, and it hasn't had many at bats in a long time. And you take a look at his situation, I can't imagine it's very easy being a utility player.
It's tough right now. I thought he had an opportunity to play shortstop, but then when I got J.D. Drew after what he did the previous year. But he's the type of guy that, he's on the bench whenever you want him ready. And I saw him a couple times out in spring training. He was out there taking balls in right field. He went to center. He went to left. So he's trying to tell the manager, hey, if you need someone to go out there and play right field, I'm not going to try to embarrass myself. I'm going to go out and try to, get the job done. Put me out there.
He did a very good job last year, that's for sure, and was very versatile. And this year's kind of been different for him as far as the playing time has gone, and the time he has played has had a tough time defensively. Waits on an 0-2 pitch here in his first at bat of the day, and he will ground softly to first base. Trumbull will take it himself, and he just does get there. So Siriaco is beating it on down the line, but he is the first out here of the 8th. Ended up a much closer play than I think it was going to be, but he did just get the foot there. And here comes Big Papi. A 3-run home run back in the 3rd inning. He's also singled and walked. He's been on base 3 times today. Into the shift on the right side go the Angels. Do they shift on you very often?
No, I think it was White Herzog did it twice. And I think he hit one off the wall and hit a home run. And he said, I'm not going to do any good.
Do anymore.
No.
I just wonder oftentimes if psychologically, obviously it doesn't bother David Ortiz, but there's sometimes we'll ground into it a lot, like now on the right side. And you just wonder from a psychological standpoint how much that would bother him from time to time.
Nope. I think we consider David strictly a pull hitter. I'm not a pull hitter. I didn't try to be pull. I tried to hit the ball where it was pitched at, and that's what made me a little different hitter than David.
Well, Hess Express donating $500. 74 total home runs for the Red Sox, 4 of them coming today. 37,000 now the total. Our thanks to Hess Express, committed to helping the cause. David retired, 2 down here in the 8th, and it brings up Mike Napoli. Ten to 5. Red Sox on top. Napoli has struck out 3 times today. Last time up, walked and scored. And as part of the 3-run home run for Jared Saltalamacchia. This one fouled off to the right, out of play. Blanton, Kahn, Coelho, Downs, and now Jepson, all used today by Mike Scioscia. They're on to their 5th pitcher of the day. And to win today, the Red Sox will take 2 out of 3 from the Angels. And this is up top at 96 miles an hour. Jepson, a guy who throws pretty hard. 2-1. Red Sox, who started this homestand with 17 runs against the Texas Rangers and put together 10 today. It's been a good offensive homestand for Boston. Foul fly off to the right. 2-2. That's one thing Dempster's had more of lately is that run support. He gets 10 runs today. It's 17 runs in that game I spoke of, and Dempster would improve to 4 and 6. So Andrew Bailey warming in the pen before. Looks like he'll be finishing out this game. Swinging a foul back to the backstop.
I think Salty better get back.
Yeah, he's pretty close. He almost got drilled.
Just a hair, Salty. That's not the on-deck circle.
No. A lot of guys try to move over as far as they can to get a better look at the pitcher. But he's a little too close. He almost got drilled.
One time got that, not that badly, but I think Gibson threw it. Someone said, look at this one here when he's trying to get an on-deck circle. So he was like that, yeah.
Swing and a miss, and striking out for the 4th time today is Mike Napoli. Looks like Andrew Bailey's going to be coming in. It is 10-5 Red Sox. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim as we head to the top half of the 9th inning, and the Red Sox closer in to get some work here with a 5-run lead is Andrew Bailey. His 19th appearance. He is 2-0 with a 1.56 earned run average, 6 out of 7 in save opportunities for Bailey. Just not been many of them for him lately. There's been a lot of these type games that he's had to come in and try to just get some work in. Opponents hitting at 167 against Bailey. Hamilton leading it off and taking ball 1. We often think about the great Red Sox Yankees games and Goose Gossage, but who was the toughest closer that you had to face, you think, in your career?
Rollie Fingers.
Rollie Fingers.
Rollie Fingers should remind you Mario Rivera. They just say, here it is, and hit it. Eck was pretty good, too. But with those guys, I think with Eck, it's more deception. You got Quisenberry also, but with Rollie Fingers, he said, here it is, just hit it. And I just couldn't hit it. And I finally got Rollie one day here, and that was my day. That was my year.
Was there anybody you feared at all? Somebody you were a little uncomfortable about when you got in the box? Somebody that was a little wild?
I think by coming up at an early age and you know, sit back and watching Yaz and watch some how the older guys prepare themselves to play the game, that's one thing that you had to have in the back of your head. You cannot let anyone intimidate you. Once the pitcher have an idea that he can intimidate you, you're dead.
Game over.
Yeah.
2-1 here to Hamilton, and that will miss. 3-1. They stack up on the right side into the shift here. Always a dicey proposition when you're talking about bringing your closer in just to get some work, and again, it has happened quite a bit lately for Bailey. This one fouled back as Pitch at the top of the strike zone that time. Full count. Bailey did get the win in the walk-off victory Thursday against Texas on Thursday night through a scoreless ninth inning. He's not giving up a run in 15 of 18 outings so far this season. Fouled back, still 3-2. On deck is Albert Pujols, then Mark Trumbull expected. It is 2, 3, and 4 here for the Angels. Swing and a miss. Andrew Bailey with the strikeout for the first out of the ninth inning. Amica Insurance proud to sponsor the Amica Pitch Zone. And a slider that time. Striking out was Josh Hamilton for the first out of the ninth inning. Bailey got behind him, came back to get him, and here's Albert Pujols, who homered back in the first inning off Ryan Dempster. One of 2 home runs that Dempster allowed today, the other to Alberto Callaspo. Here's a pop-up. Sultan Amaki gets rid of the mask. Down
sure man have it. There you go, Salty.
Mike Napoli down to make the catch in foul ground. Much easier play for him.
It is.
Sultan looks like he was in a little bit of trouble there out of the gate.
He was. I mean, because a catcher really doesn't have a time to check the wind. At least this guy coming to first base got a chance to check the wind. He can sort of glide in a little bit instead of busting his butt out there and the wind bring it back. But the first baseman got to make that play.
Well, Napoli does for the second out of the ninth inning. Now Mark Trumbo is coming up. Trumbo has been on base 3 times today, 2 singles and a walk. He is also grounded out. Did he go? No, says Wally Bell. Sure looked like he might have.
Wally enjoying those glasses and that gum he got in his mouth. He's not watching the game. Yes.
Yeah, I think you want to.
Yeah, I think it's yes.
The 1-0. He is going to miss low. 2-0. Enjoying his gum and
ninth in the 5-10. Yes, he did go. 2 outs.
I'm amazed by the fact that you guys on Monday Night Baseball would start at 9 o'clock. Imagine starting at 9 o'clock a game now.
You guys be leaving by 2 and 1.
And Bailey missing that time. 3-0. What was it that made it so much faster? 2.5. 2:40.
Guys, they threw strikes. They threw strikes, and you had the older umpires. All right, let's get in here. Let's go. And that's what it was all about. The umpire sort of like ruled the game, but now it seems like the players rule the game more. And they just take a lot of time to walk around. It's not the same. I think the players have a contract that when they play longer games, more beer for the fans, and they get more money. But it's time to negotiate the contract.
3-1 is fouled back, and it's a full count now.
And see, the thing about it, I played my whole career here, and you see what you have here. You're in the 9th inning, you're up by 5 runs, and the fans are still here.
And they are standing at Fenway with 2 outs in the 9th inning. 3-2 pitch is lined down the right field line, foul. Hamilton struck out, Pujols fouled out. Now Trumbo with a full count. Red Sox trying to pick up their 39th win of the year. Three-2 pitch. Fouled back as Trumbo stays alive. 16 pitches now for Bailey here in the 9th. 3-2. He is in the dirt, ball 4, and Bailey loses him as Trumbo walks for the second time today. 4th time he's been on base. And the first base runner against Bailey. Howie Kendrick coming up here with 2 down in the inning. Those Angels team came into this series 10.5 games back. They're 10 games back of the Oakland A's to start the day. 27-35. And of course they did take game 1 yesterday. It's in there for strike 1.
Hopefully it'll stay the same. Oakland lost today.
Oakland A's have been red hot. But as you mentioned, they went down to the White Sox today 4-2. It was a 1-1 and a swing and a miss. A slider that time from Bailey. Angels again down to their last strike. Fouled back, staying alive is Kendrick. Kendrick has struck out, reached twice on fielder's choices, and then was hit by a pitch. And Koji Uehara with a curveball in the 8th inning. The 1-2 and is fouled back into the seats again. Shadows start to make their way towards home plate here with 2 outs in the 9th. In the dirt outside, 2-2. Red Sox will be traveling to St. Petersburg, Florida after the game today, and in preparation of their series against Tampa Bay. They'll also go to Baltimore as part of this 7-day, 7-game trip. And as they stay within the American League East after this game today for the next week. 2-2 pitch.
Yay!
Hey, struck him out and the Red Sox win. Howie Kendrick strikes out and Boston takes 2 out of 3 from the Angels as today they win 10-5. We send it to Yawkey Way and Tom Caron.